with this beautiful view of Colombo. A very warm welcome to you for the 77th Bradby Shield second leg between Royal College Colombo and Trinity College Kandy. Both these schools will be wanting to make sure that they put their best foot forward here at the second leg of the 77th Bradby Shield 2023. Lovely pictures, of course, brought to you on Sri Lanka's #1 sports hub, www.thepapare.com. The undisputed leader in broadcasting everything that is sport in the country. At the moment, the under-16s game is going on for the Simitiarachi Trophy, a trophy which is fiercely battled by the two teams, wanting to make sure that they go away with silverware for themselves. Earlier today, the weather forecast did look like there will be some rain, but now it has changed drastically. Maximum temperature at 30 Celsius, minimum at 27. Currently, it feels like 31, 32, quite sunny. And although it says partly cloudy, no clouds are here at the complex. And the boys from Kandy will do well to try and acclimatize themselves with this scorching heat. Two teams going through with their final prep before the all-important game. And joining me in the combox is Abdullah Yusuf, Captain Royal College 1997, and of course Mr. Shanak Amarasinghe. Welcome, gentlemen. It's going to be a very, very interesting affair.
The anticipation is hotting up around the ground here at Reed Avenue, Sudarshana, and it is a wonderful event, the Bradby Shield. Whatever the form of the two teams coming in, it really is a scorcher, and it is a scorcher of a day as well. As you said, the clouds have disappeared wherever they want to go to, and the sun is beating down here. Hopefully it will get a little bit cooler as we look at the Royal team taking on their hydration. This is something that the coaches are very, very systematic about, getting the hydration in, and this is the Trinity team warming up at the other end as well. This is the first time they're playing away from home, first time they're playing in Colombo. Abdullah, do you reckon that this could be an issue?
77th Bradby Shield with 76 being played. Trinity is holding that slight edge in the overall tally with 39 wins. Royal College, of course, with 35 wins with 2 encounters being drawn. So Royalists will want to try and catch up, but Trinity will be looking for that 40-figure mark, Abdullah.
Yes, most definitely, Sudarshan, and good afternoon, everyone. Yes, Trinity definitely created a real upset, you'd have to say, up in Kandy during that first leg. Winning by a slender 3 points, but a win nonetheless. And this is the task that is in Royal's hand. Actually, this is the results over the last 10 years.
Yes, so when you take a look at these results, Trinity having success in 2013 and 14, since then the Bradby Shield hasn't travelled to Kandy. That's something that they will have the back of their mind. But Trinity will take a lot of confidence onto your right-hand side of the screen. Those red colour marks, despite losing the Bradby, they managed to win 3 second legs, something that they will want to try and emulate here, and if they can do that, they will take the Shield back to Kandy. Royal, on the other hand, is just 3 points. 1 penalty and it's back to square zero, Shanak, and they will want to try and get those 3 points as soon as possible.
It's not a lot between the two teams, just single digits except for the 1 year. But we'll look at what happened last week. It was a turnaround up in Pallakele, that is for sure. Royal went in overwhelming favourites, and when they scored first here through Filio Kalyanaratne, everyone thought this was when the floodgates would open. Royal fans really filling out the grounds up there in Pallakele and were expecting a bit of a rout, Sudarshana, but got a surprise.
They surely did get a surprise, but interestingly, this was the same template that Royal followed when it comes to the league decider last season. They got in front of the opposition 10 points to nil, but come second half, they lost a player to a yellow card, they lost their playmaker, they lost focus, and then when Trinity latched on to momentum, it was too little too late. But here at Colombo, at Royal Complex, it's a totally different game. The kickers, of course, had a day to forget, not being very, very successful from both the teams. Of course, Shan Altaf managing to get 2 conversions on spot in the second half, which got Trinity the advantage. But second half, Trinitians looked like a different beast.
They certainly did, and they had everything to play for, and going down 10-0 sometimes eases the pressure. This was the try that never was. Lakindo Herat putting in a dive that he probably didn't need to put in, but outstanding defense from Tiven Pereira with his head bandaged and everything, never gave up the fight, and you can see very clearly that that ball hit the floor. We saw it to our naked eye, and the TMO confirmed it. Referee Shankar Bekun doing everything right in that instance. Here we had Trinity. What I must say they did well was they rucked on the outer channels very well. I saw the wingers coming in, the fullback coming in, and making sure they got over the ball in the outer channels. So Royal third row needs to be a little bit more mobile this time around to make sure they challenge the ball on those perimeters. So Shan Altaf managed to get a couple of penalties over, and then the try scored by Tisanga Disanaika. And that was a welcome try for them as they went to 10-all with Altaf regaining his confidence. And then there was a little bit of an error by Gamanayaka here. Tried to run this one out of trouble. And a good spot tackle made. And just going over and making sure they got good body position. And forced Royal into the error. Penalty under the post, and Altaf stepped up. And that ended up being the winning kick.
Harit Samaruir, the man who was right on top of that ball, controlled his body weight, tackled it beautifully. Most of the Trinitians had their hearts in their mouths when this happened, but Royal not managing to hold on to it, and you can see the elation. It's very rare to see Fazil Marija showing emotion on the field of it. As we take a look at beautiful Colombo, as our director Malisha Pereira says, with plenty of greenery, thankful to all these grounds that are around here, otherwise it would have been a concrete jungle.
It certainly would, and I think a lot of us who live in Colombo probably don't appreciate how green it really is. It's when you travel that you realize what a wonderful city Colombo is. Abdullah, you've lived and gone to school in this part of the world a long time, and it must be stirring up some good memories for you.
Yes, most definitely. Remember practicing even at the Royal College cricket grounds during our junior days. We used to practice at the CRNFC hockey grounds, where now there's a badminton court and a swimming pool. But we actually moved in here when we were under 15 years. And since then, it has been pretty much the home of Royal Rugby.
Now, during the first leg, Shanika, a lot was spoken about the missed chances. Trinity opted to go for 3 points at just 2 minutes time, and that was a very wishful kick, which was not very easy for Altaf. He tried again at the 18th minute mark, not being successful again. But it was good to see the Trinitians giving him confidence and spurring him on, despite him missing this one as well. This, of course, with a difficult angle on the opposite end of the field.
Well, he's just a youngster, Sudarshana, playing in his first Bradby, and I was really impressed that they kept giving him the ball. I thought skipper Atab Manzil was someone who was a bit of an unsung hero in that first leg, because he was at the forefront of everything. Well, I shouldn't say forefront, he was behind everything Trinity did. And at fullback, he was making sure that this guy was never out of his depth, that he was always told that he had the confidence of the team. And he's a special player. I think I have a lot of time for this boy. If he keeps building on what he showed in that first leg, I think things are going to get better and better, not just for Trinity Rugby, but for Sri Lanka Rugby as well. But it was really nice to see him kept getting the kicks and the confidence of the team.
Talking about missed chances, this was the biggest miss for Trinity College. Looked like they were going to score a brilliant try. Jamil doing brilliantly to put luck into in space, but that dive a little too ambitious. And Tiven Pereira doing wonderfully well to try and limit Trinity to 5 points momentarily, but the TMO facility which was available for that game, making sure that the correct decision was made at the end of the lap.
Yeah, that's right. Royal probably a bit lucky to get away with that, but probably if there was no TMO, it probably would have been adjudicated as a try. But as Shanak very correctly said, some brilliant desperate defense by Tiven, saving Royal going down another 5 points, which would have made the task much more difficult come this second leg. But just coming to this second leg, I think Royal will just need to start from the beginning. I don't think they need to think too much about this 3 point deficit, put that aside, start afresh. That first leg, it was very much a game of two halves, wasn't it? That first half, all the Royal just scored 10 points. You felt that they probably left 10 points in that, another 10 points in that first half. And they probably paid the price for that. You're talking about the Royal third row having to be much more precise at the breakdown. I think Royals, the back three too, will have to keep a close eye. I thought another area where we just didn't cope in that first half was Trinity's kicking game. I'm not sure whether it was by design or it just happened. Manzil as well as Altaf started kicking very well, and I just don't think the Royal back three coped with it as well. And from that point onwards, Royal were continuously pegged in their own half, and Trinity just got the momentum, and they just took the game away from Royal.
It's interesting that you mentioned that it was a tale of two halves, and it has been the story for Royal throughout the season. Most of their games have been tales of two halves, but luckily for Royal, up until that first leg, the second half, they have really turned up. Here, they went into a shell in the second half. Like we mentioned, the yellow card, Papare being taken off, it unsettled the Royalists a little, and Trinity hooked onto momentum.
Well, these images must be heartbreaking and mixed emotions for our friend Buddhika Kulatunga, a big part of the organising committee of this Royal College leg of the Bradby Shield. His nephew playing in colours that he would rather see reversed, but it would have been quite heartbreaking for him to see him knock on that try. This is Nabil Yahya, who came onto the field and just wasn't able to do the job.
Well, got to feel for Yahya as well. It was not easy kicking in that conditions. As you may recall, if the wind was so very strong, Shanak, and it was unusual windy conditions at Pallekale, and the kickers found it extremely difficult. Now, this is a matchup that's going to be interesting in the second leg as well, how the forwards are going to ramp up. The Trinity forwards got the better of the Royal forwards in the first leg, if I may say so, and that is going to be a very crucial aspect of this leg as well.
Yeah, that's right. Royal depend a lot on their forward dominance, isn't it? And just as you're talking, in that second half, quite unexpectedly, Trinity forwards just absolutely upped their game. But again, it probably it came about for the fact that Trinity were always on the front foot because of their kicking game was so accurate, and the fact that Royal just did not cope with it. So Royal were constantly under pressure. They were trying to counter-attack. Whenever they kicked back, the kick was not accurate, the chase was not good enough, and then their forwards just started getting a bit of momentum. And from that point onwards, Royal was continuously on the back foot, and Trinity, to their credit, capitalized on it. So in this second leg, it's hoped that Royal have identified those areas, because Trinity, can bet your bottom dollar, are going to kick a lot in this game, because it was a very effective ploy, and I'm fairly sure that they'll look at doing that in this game as well.
Well, plenty to ponder, plenty to chat about, but what we'll do is we'll go for a quick commercial break. Do not go anywhere, because we have plenty more to bring to you before the kickoff here at the Royal Complex. So we'll be right back.
Nevum බව රැකදෙන කුමාරිකා හම්බිට් සංවීධී සමකට කැම ඔයිල් බික් ෂේවිංగ్ ෆෝම් අත්විදිය හැකි වෙනසකට
Cheese රසට යාළුව සෙට් එක ස්මයිලි බෙදනවා ඕන වෙලාවක ස්නැක් එක දැක්කම හිත ෆික්ස් වෙනවා සරල කැමති අය දවස පුරාවට සැරයිල්ලනවා කැලිප්සෝ මික්ස් එක ඕන වෙලාවක නැගලම යනවා boring life එක break up කරගෙන salsa නටනවා ලුණු රටාවට onion kick එක full happening මනවා අචි රටටම රස බෙදෙන මංජි රස බලකාය දැන් අලුත් වෙලා.
Hey, have you heard about Z?
Z. WeKYC.
Easy.
Mobile banking. Crazy.
Education loans and salary advances.
Amazing.
Introducing the Digital Youth Account. NDBZ. NDBZ from NDB Bank. The future is banking on us.
ඕගොල්ලොත් එන්නේ ඉවෙන්ට් එකට. ඩ්‍රෙස් කෝඩ් එක black.
Black? No problem.
නව වැඩි දියුණු කළ ඩැන්ඩෙක්ස් ඇක්ටිව් ක්ලිම්බසෝල් පළමු සේදීමෙන්ම ඉස්සොරි ඉවත් කරයි. ස්වභාවික සාරයන් හිස පෝෂණය කරයි. නටමුද?
No problem.
හැමදාම ඩැන්ඩෙක්ස් නම් හැමදාම no problem. ඩැන්ඩෙක්ස් හිස නිදහසේ ඉදිරියට.
beautiful outside and inside.
ඕනම දෙයක් කරන්න විදියක් තියෙනවා. ඒ තමයි තමන්ගේ විදිය. ජීවිතය අත්විඳින්න ආත්ම විශ්වාසයෙන් නැගී සිටින්න. බෝල්ඩ් ඔපම වෙන්න.
Colombo, beautiful outside and inside.
Welcome back to live coverage here of the 77th Bradby Shield live on the Papare.com. Wherever you are in the world, welcome to all the Royalists, all the Trinitians in various parts of the globe, in Australia, in New Zealand, in Canada, in the US, in the UK, in the Middle East, and it is our great pleasure. I'm in between a Royalist and a Trinitian to bring these wonderful Bradby pictures to you.
Well, here at the Royal Complex, the crowds are filling into capacity, and for the home team, what they need to do is they need to make sure that they win this second leg with a 3-point deficit, with more than 3 points. And if they can do that, they will be the third Royal team to stage a comeback victory. Encounters won after losing the first leg. Only 7 teams have done it. Trinitians have done it 5 times, with Royal doing it 2 times. One in 1979 and one in 1998. Abdullah, who was the captain of the 1997 side, will have a vivid memory of the 1998 comeback, Abdullah, and you will be hoping that this team channels that spirit here at the complex.
Yes, absolutely. And the Royal, if I'm not mistaken, Royal came pretty much unbeaten into that Bradby as well. But the venues were kind of swapped. Royal lost that game up in Royal lost their first leg in Colombo, but went up to Kandy and won it very convincingly. So in that aspect, Royal, you have to say, has got slightly a better favorable venue advantage here today, so I'm sure they will look to capitalize on that.
Absolutely. And here's the biggest comeback win for Trinity College. That was in 2011. They lost the first leg in Bogambara, 25 points to 33, but came back here at the complex, and that was a Reed Avenue massacre. 40 points to 5, and won the game by 27 points. The biggest comeback for Royal College, of course, was like we discussed in 1998, where they were a very much fancied team. 1998 Trinity delivered a super performance, upsetting many, winning the game by 2 points. But here in Colombo, here up in Bogambara rather, the story was different. Royal running route, winning the game 42 points to 11.
I remember that game well, Sudarshana. I think it was a similar scoreline in your final year as well, Abdullah. 20 points to 18 or something similar. A very, very close run. But then Chamit Papare, I remember scoring a try, and that Royal team of 1998 with some big names, Pavitra Fernando, Gamunu Disanaik, and really just destroying Trinity in that way around. That's Abid Jamil, who is not just a winger but also the head boy of Trinity College, which is something that you don't see often.
Well, member of the college debate team and also the Drumsock, but here's the atmosphere. Arriving at the Royal Complex, the Colombo lights up for the Bradby. All roads in Colombo lead to the complex as the invitees and the very few who managed to secure their tickets to the grandstand. And I can tell you, the tickets were in massive demand. And the parents arriving nice and early for the under-16 game, wanted to make sure they witness their young ones putting in a good shift for the Simiti Arachi trophy.
Yes, that's right. So it's another big encounter for the youngsters. Wonderful exposure they get by playing in that tournament. We just saw Trinity annexing the Sumiti Arachi this year, but it was a wonderful contest, and it was great to see those juniors putting in some good rugby for the spectators to see, as see the crowds building up here at the Royal College Sports Complex.
The Sumiti Arachi Trophy this time contested by the under-16s, usually the second 15 or under-18 match that it is. But unfortunately, due to COVID, there's been quite a few issues on both sides, and unable to field the under-18 teams this time. It's a real tragedy, wasn't it, Abdullah? Those 2 years that were lost to these boys who are developing nicely.
It's not just for them, but you've got to feel for the guys who missed out completely as well, isn't it? At least these boys will have another couple of years to look forward to, as we can see the walk through Royal College. Very fond memories, the famous Siambala tree. A lot of scraps have happened during interval, during our days. Not sure whether it's still the case, but listen, that's the college ground, the Royal outdoor basketball court. And this is the college ground, and this is the cricket ground. So, yes, wonderful memories. A lot has changed at college. This is the kindergarten area, college hall.
You had to give up your basketball, didn't you, Abdullah, towards the end to choose rugby, so to speak?
That's right, Shanaka, but wonderful memories from the under-13 and under-15 stages. As you can see, this is the famous Royal Quadrangle, as it were, in the college area. So, yes, some wonderful pictures, brings back many fond memories. This is the college hall where we used to all gather prior to leaving to the ground. As you can see, Royals coach Dushant Luke just going through the warm-up routines. No doubt would have done a lot of analysis of that performance in the first leg, and will be looking forward to putting his charges, getting a good performance out of them in this crucial encounter.
Two former teammates coaching either side, not just for Sri Lanka but also for Kandy Sports Club. Fazil Marija and Dushant Luke, they'll know each other really well. They'll know how they approach the game as well. And here's the school from the hills.
The school where the river, lake and mountain made. These pictures will definitely bring back lovely memories to everybody who's not able to be here in person but joining us from around the world. The Gaster Block, the iconic Gaster Block, has gotten a facelift with Trinity's 150-year celebrations and the crown jewel of the college, the Trinity College Chapel, the Holy Trinity Chapel, nestled in the school, one of the most unique piece of architecture when it comes to places of worship in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, it really is, Sudarshan. I was very sorry to miss your wedding there at the chapel. But as we wait for the bands to take over, do their bit as Trinity march into the dressing room, for the first time at the Royal College Sports Complex here. Oh, it looks like there's an old friend that Dushant Leuke has flown back from Australia. That's Akila Pereira, who was Dushant's trainer for a long, long time. And maybe he has some words of inspiration for this team.
Interesting, isn't it? MCG a couple of weeks ago, and here he is at the Royal Complex. But we'll come to that as we go for a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we will have the introductions and we will get ever so close to the kickoff of this all-important second leg of the 77th Bradby Shield.
Colombo, beautiful outside and inside.
ඕනම දෙයක් කරන්න විදියක් තියෙනවා. ඒ තමයි තමන්ගේ විදිය. ජීවිතය අත්දිනින්න. ආත්ම විශ්වාසයෙන් නැගී සිටින්න. Bold, ඔපම වෙන්න. Aloe vera and mint for freshness. Chamomile for sensitive skin. Lemon and lime for an energetic day. Big shaving foam. A change you must experience.
Hey, have you heard about Z?
ZZ.
We KYC.
Easy.
Mobile banking. Crazy.
Education loans and salary advances.
Amazing.
Introducing the Digital Youth Account. NDBZ. NDBZ from NDB Bank. The future is banking on us.
Your embrace so warm with one more bite of Revelo for sunshine. Don't wanna miss this pouring rain, pleasing my soul with one more bite of Revelo for the rain. This freedom takes me north that I have never been. With one more bite of Revelo for the road. Love never felt this good. With one more bite of Revelo for love.
Enjoy the infinite possibilities of the freedom of space, inspired by the beauty of our land. Sri Lanka's finest finished, largest sized porcelain tile collection. Majestica. Lanka Tiles. Fine living redefined.
Welcome back to the live action brought to you on Sri Lanka's #1 sports hub, www.thepapare.com. Here we are, minutes away from the all-important start of the second leg of the 77th Bradby Shield. We're waiting for the teams to arrive and they will be introduced to the distinguished guest, the chief guest, of course, of the competition today will be one of the senior players of the 1984 team, with the captain of the 1984 team, Mr. Agalavat, having passed away. As we take a look at the dignitaries of the game, and one unmistakable phrase there, the president of Sri Lanka, Mr. Ranil Wickramasinghe gracing the occasion as well as one of the guests of honor, alongside the principals of Royal and Trinity College, and of course Mr. Feroz Shuaib, the chief guest of the occasion.
That's right, Sudarshana. So he's representing the team, the senior most player after the college captain and vice captain of the 1984 team. Fortunately, talking about Sampath Agalawat, I think a mention is important of him. He was a Bradby winning captain as well. Fortunately, passed away. And he was my very first coach as well when I was at under 13. So a very special person, taught us the rudiments of the game. And it's nice to see that Mr. Shoaib is here to represent him on this occasion.
Didn't have the pleasure of knowing him, Abdullah, but from everyone who did, he sounds like he was an absolutely outstanding human being. Gone too soon.
So we take a look at the crowds who are in anticipation, waiting their start of this all-important encounter. And we will now have the invitees coming down as we see the Grand Shield, the Bradby Shield, which was commissioned by former principal of Royal College, Mr. L.D. Bradby, made by silversmiths of Kandy, which started off a terrific rivalry as an Chanaka. Absolute brilliant story. 7 decades, almost 8 decades of friendly rivalry between these two institutions, and they've been fighting with passion to make sure that they become victorious. And also Abdullah, being a captain of a Royal Bradby playing team, you know, the stories behind Bradby are much more than the 80 minutes that were competed in our days. Now it's reduced to 70 minutes, but the memories, the stories, the bonds are absolutely invaluable.
Yeah, most definitely. Fond memories as well as some heartbreaks as well, but it's all part of the character building process. It's got a wonderful history. It's on through the generations, and the teams and the players have grown up to build those friendships over the years, and it's just a wonderful occasion. The uniqueness of it being played over 2 legs, Colombo and Kandy, just adds to that aura that it has created over the years. And every passing year as an event, it's just becoming bigger and bigger, and it's just great to see.
Heartbreaks are memories too, Abdullah, and you've had a few in these Bradby encounters, and but that's a conversation that we'll leave for later, as Colombo's finest have turned out in their numbers here. Trinity College have certainly upped the anticipation for this game. I think before the season started and while the season was going on, everyone expected Royal to cakewalk this through, but now that Trinity are taking this slender lead into this second leg, it's really nothing more than 3 points, and it's going to be a fantastic encounter. And everyone has come here adding a little bit more color, glamour and enjoyment to the proceedings.
Well, the chief guests and the dignitaries have come down and are waiting for the two teams to arrive, making a statement that it's those boys who are the VVVIPs here at the Bradby, the second leg of the Bradby Shield.
Yes, it's a very nervous moment for both teams, just going through their final huddles probably in the dressing room. Coaches have probably given their final messages. Teams, the kites down, the captains who will probably take over just to say those final few words. And no doubt that both teams will be pumped for the occasion. Royal, you'd have to say, will want to come with a point to prove after that. You have to say disappointing second half in that first leg. But Trinity will be full of confidence after winning that first leg. But they will know that coming down to Colombo, first time they're coming down to Colombo as well. We've got to keep that in mind for the entire season. So that will probably play a part as well as this game progresses. But just coming back to the game as overall, Royal will have to put in an 80-minute performance. That's just probably where they will felt they let themselves down up in Kandy. They played that first 35 minutes extremely well, but they just did not kick on in that second half, and I'm sure that the coaches would have imposed that point on the players during the course of this week.
It is going to be a 70-minute exercise, that is for sure, for both teams. Nobody can rest easy on a one-half performance, that's for sure. But Abdullah, we were talking about Royal being a second-half side. And in terms of a two-legged encounter, this is pretty much the second half, isn't it? So will they go back to what they're used to and come back really strongly in this section of the encounter?
Yes, Royal have just got to play to their strengths, isn't it? They've got to control possession. Play the territory game a bit more smarter. I felt that's an area in that second half where they did not play the territory game. They just were so focused on controlling possession that they got bogged in their own half and put themselves under a lot of pressure. So Royal just need to keep that in mind as they go into this game.
Unforgettable moments for Randul Bandara as well as Atab Mansil, who leads his team out in the Tuskers paddock. I don't think you can say den. And they will really be going head to head with these two giants of the jungle. So two school anthems ring out and the crowd joins in. This is the moment they've all been sitting and waiting patiently for. This is what makes all the metal detectors worth it. And here we go. The crowd are in anticipation. We are certainly in anticipation here in the commentary box. I'm sure everyone in their watch parties, wherever you are in the world, will be brimming with anticipation here as well, as we await kick-off imminently in the 77th Bradby Shield, as Atab Manzil introduces the chief guest, the third most senior member of that royal team of 1984.
This is Mr. Feroz Shuhaib. So made the trip from Bangladesh to be here. And both teams will now have a couple of minutes of blowout. Shanak, it's important that they get that energy back. They get themselves warmed up and fired up for the all-important kickoff.
Spoke about this just before in the pre-game as well, Abdullah. Trinity travelling down for the first time to Colombo. How do you think this might affect them?
Yes, it'll be interesting to see how they'll adapt. It looks a very sweltering hot day, isn't it? And the thing that probably affects most of the Kandy schools more than the heat itself is the humidity. So how they adjust their game, how they play it into the second half, that's going to be a crucial factor, because Royal, if you look at it the same way, it was the first time they went up to Kandy in the first leg as well. So, of course, they got off to a good start but just couldn't maintain that momentum. So that could prove to be a crucial factor as this game progresses.
Randul Bandara introducing his team to the chief guest and the opposing school principal as well. Here are the two teams. Tenuk Fernando, Dehan Watagoda, Senula Alexander in the front row. They did a very good job in the first leg. Much smaller second row. Venuka Kumarage and Ravi Nilangaratna for Trinity College.
Yes, the third rowers will have to really turn up. Sangatha Disanayaka was impressive in that first leg. So was Harit Samaravira, but Chamendra Dhanapala, the deputy skipper, was largely not present with the ball in hand. He'll want to carry a little more. But this combination, Rushan Bandarnaik and also that incredible Shan Altaf, is going to be key for Trinity's chances. 16-year-old will want to make sure the center combination, Anuas Koditoko and Lakindu Heras, partnering up. They will want to try and get their names on the scoreboard and make sure that they capitalize. The back three, Sachin Duwanasekar, Atab Mansil and Abid Jamil, making the third row, the back three for Trinity College are unchanged. They are for Trinity, and those three will be looking to run right here at the complex. As for the Royals, plenty of changes.
Interesting that Trinity haven't seen any changes, but here's the Royal team. Kavinath Srikanth, Afif Akram, Thinat Gamage Akram moving from the back to the front. And in the second row, the huge Tanvir Hassan and Yahan Veerasurya. So a little bit of a change with Bhuvaneka going out of the playing 15. Sorry, Bhuvaneka shifting to the flank of the playing 15. Randul Senanayaka moves from the center into his favored position of number 8. Yovindu Athugala was outstanding in defense in the first leg and will need to be in this one as well. Youngster at scrum half, Savista Fernando. And Thiven Pereira comes into, he's recovered from his injury hopefully, and he's back at number 10, the vice captain of the side. In the centers, Disas Patirana, Filio Kalyanaratna. Disas Patirana moving from the wing into the number 12 position. They'll be looking for his speed and maybe the kick-chasing ability in that number 12 jersey. Filio Kalyanaratna scored a try and will want another one this time. Dulce Gamanayaka moves out from the center to the wing. Charuka Seneviratna is at fullback, and Amika Samarasinghe comes into the side on the wing as well.
Match officials for the day, Gehan Yadavar will be the man in the middle with the whistle, and with Robin Alexander and Anwar Shanta assisting him, and Irshad Kader will be the television match official as we're ready to kick off the all-important second leg of the 77th Bradby Shield 2023.
Atab Manzil is the man with the ball. Referee Yatavara says, let's go, and Manzil puts it deep inside the 22. Taken easily by Royal. With Seneviratna at fullback, who took that first ball. It's knocked forward. And Trinity will have turnover ball to run with. Bandaranaike is beaten to the halfback position. Lovely angle by Anuhas Kodituakku. Taken quickly in the tackle by Veera Surya, who drags him backwards. Here's Bandaranaike. Manages to offload. Trinity inside the 22. Royal under early pressure. Bandaranaike to Altaf. Goes onto the blind side. Now they come through with the forwards. Alexander going back inside the 22, and now it slows down for Bandaranaike. Altaf. They look to manhandle the young 16-year-old, this big Royal set of forwards. Thump up the middle from Alexander, gets the ball away nicely, and here's the flanker Dhanapala, the deputy. Trinity getting some early touches. Here's Altaf with the drop goal. It's nowhere near where he wants it to be, but this might sit up dangerously, and taken quickly by Sachindu Vanasekara. And you have to ask, was that a ploy? Because he's got plenty more on his boot. Sachindu Vanasekara picks up the bouncing ball. He had a heartbreaking exit in the first leg where he was taken off to an injury. And the Trinity speedster comes back and makes his presence felt with a wonderful score under the posts.
Well, never mind for those 3 points. Sean Altaf attempted. Sachindu Vanasekara pouncing on that ball. Royal didn't look like they wanted to catch it. Take a look at this one. Altaf putting it up. Wanted the drop kick. Nobody wanted it. And Vanasekara says, get out of my way, and touches down right underneath the post. Now, 8-point deficit. That will be at the back of the mind of the Royalists. They will want to try and catch that up. With Altaf, no problem. 7 points to nil. 2.5 minutes on our clock, and Trinity is in front.
Yes, I don't think Trinity could have asked for a better start. But if you have a look at that replay again, Seniviratne just didn't seem to know exactly what was happening. Playing at fullback for the first time this season. Just had no clue of getting himself in the correct position, and Trinity were really good enough to pounce on that.
Interestingly, Abdullah, modern day, a high kick like that, the player would want to try and jump up to that ball so that he can catch it securely and then come down. But Seniviratne really making hash of that one.
Thiven Pereira puts that into the shade. Nicely taken that time by Gamanaika, who's wearing the number 12 jersey today. Royal will now have everything to play for. Dominant collision there for Trinity, driving the Royal player back. Royal will go to their tried and tested method. They will batter away at this Trinity fringe and try to open things up for their dangerous runners on the outside. It's a big call, isn't it, Abdullah, making that change. Seniviratne coming to fullback, especially against an accomplished kicking team in the form of Manzil and Altaf. Here's the ball. Vilio Kalyaratne with a lovely pass out. Samarasinghe cutting back infield. Makes it available for the young scrum half, Fernando. Thiven Pereira. Chopped down in centre field. That was a good tackle by Dhanapala. Here's the ball made available once again. Pereira coming back infield for Tanveer Hassan. Gamanaika trying to atone for what was an average performance in that second half of the last leg. Plenty of running in him. Royal running strongly. Trinity defense meeting them equally strongly. Good discipline maintained so far. Thiven Pereira looks to show and go. Manages to gain some ground. Good continuity from Royal College here. Here's Samarasinghe. Knows it was his mistake. Will want to do well.
Offside.
And they do get the penalty. Seniviratne, in fact, it was. Here's Randul, the skipper. Strong leg drive from the big man. And now it opens up for Thiven Pereira. Puts it high up into the sun, and Manzil drops it into the hands of Filio Kalyanaratne, who drags it towards the 5-meter line. Still available for Royal. This is end-to-end stuff here. Fernando. Flying up in defense was Kodituakku, but there was offside before, and the referee will come back for the penalty.
Denuk Fernando, the culprit for Trinity College that time. Dushant Leuk and Radhika Hettiarachchi, coach and the assistant coach of the Royal outfit. Royal picking and going, they have the deficit at the back of their mind. Right in front of the purse, you'll go for points any day of the week. But Royal want the Bradby.
Gamage with a strong carry. This is where Royal are dangerous. This is where they scored both their tries in the last encounter. And that's where the try is. This is where Royal are so dangerous, and it took some stopping, and Trinity were just not up to the mark.
What a wonderful response by Royal. You'd have to go back to that kickoff. What a wonderful chase by Gamanayaka. Just pick Trinity back, and then from then on, this is a brand of rugby that Royal are very comfortable playing, attacking on the fringes, asking questions from the defense, and they're making Trinity making a lot of tackles, and that's exactly what Royal want to do in this first quarter of the game.
Randall Senanayake, the skipper, going back to his favorite position, scoring that one, that would give him a little world of confidence, Shanaka. It's not something that he's not used to. He'll want to make sure that he scores a couple more tries like that.
Tiven Pereira will look to add the extras. And that time there's no extras. So it will remain a 5-point deficit, 7 points to 5 on the scoreboard. But traded the fullbacks, trading drops, Abdullah. Here's the pressure once again for Tiven. Should have been a fairly easy kick, really.
Yes, well, Royal have their the best place kickers on the bench, unfortunately, at the start of the game. So it's a bit of a gamble that they have taken. Let's hope that it doesn't come to haunt them as this game goes on.
It's a big man busting up through Gamanayaka.
No.
Fernando will look for a safe clearance. It's outside the 22, but well taken that time by Bandaranayaka. A good tackle also by Samarasinha on the chase. Trinity opting to run now. Altaf. Nice work from Manzil. Here's Jamil. Jamil looking for the offload. Picked up and kept going. He's a big man on the wing. Jamil, if he can just free his hands. Altaf loves. Nice little offload once again from Trinity. Looking for some support. Inside the 22 they go. Nice work from Tiven Pereira. Cleared out of the way. The referee said he hadn't got enough rights to the ball. Altaf. Here it is to Anuhas Kodituakku. Stepping back infield. And the ball is dropped. But what a passage of play. My goodness, this is end-to-end stuff. And we're just in the first 10 minutes, guys.
Oh, absolutely terrific stuff. This is what everybody came here for, end-to-end rugby, and Trinity making sure that their offloads take just that final one, not sticking. Now Trinity forwards, first scrum inside the red zone of Royal. They dominated the Royalists last time around. Lovely bit of work. If it was the center, that would have been a try, but unfortunately had to be a lock who is still looking for options, who is looking for a speedster to try and offload the number 5 Ilanga Ratna. A lovely bit of work by Lucky Duhera to slightly delay that pass, but Jamil's offload not finding the man.
You just had to wonder what would have happened if Ilanga Ratna put his ears back. But lock forwards are not used to that much acreage. And the penalty is coming for a boring in from referee Atavara. So the first scrum penalty. And Royal will be very grateful that they've managed to put some pressure on the Trinity front row.
They'll be pleased at the fact that they have gotten a jail field card in their red zone, and the Trinity front row, as you can clearly see on your screens, standing up in that scrum. Seems like referee Atavara telling the front rowers that you were on to a side.
So what a start it has been to this second leg. 10 minutes on, already 2 tries. Some wonderful passages of play. Both teams willing to spread the ball out wide, which is good to see. Conditions suit that as well.
This is going to be interesting. A maul being set and how Trinity will try to defend this one.
This is where Trinity managed to get the upper hand in the last encounter, but this time Royal looks like they've done their homework and they're marching it forward. Still going forward, so there's no obligation to use, but now they do. Fernando, here's Kalyanaratne looking for the big pass and manages to find it. Gamanayaka inside the 22, gets up and goes again. Offside penalty coming for Royal, so they'll have a free crack at this one. Fernando running again. Big front rowers slowing it down in midfield, but it won't matter. Tiven Pereira knew that the penalty was coming, so he puts the kick up. And referee Atavara will have a word with Atab Manzil pretty early on in this game.
Yes, that was a very encouraging first driving ball by Royal. Trinity really stamped their authority earlier on, been negating that aspect of Royal's attack. But I'm sure the Royal forwards will be very pleased with how that first driving maul went. I'm sure the coaching staff would have analyzed what went wrong and would have communicated exactly what needs to be done. And it was a greatly executed driving maul, and that's the base from which Royal always launch their attack. So,
well, this is good to see. It's a very kickable penalty, but Royal are going for the sideline. That's positive play. This is where perhaps Royal were a little lacking in confidence last fortnight ago. But this time there's none of that. They go straight to the sideline.
Interesting what Trinity's approach will be in this line out. Are they going to contest this one? Or are they going to try and defend it? Defend the maul, which will be certain here at the complex.
With Buanaka Saranayaka moving to flanker, they've got another big jumper in that maul. Here's Senanayaka off the back. Randul looking for his second try.
Get back, get back.
Gains at least 5 meters. Once again, there's no prizes for guessing what Royal are going to try. But as Kumar Sangakkara said about Muttaya Muralidharan, you know what's coming, but you still got to play it. Pick up and go. It won't be pretty. And here he goes, almost over. The penalty is coming, so the referee might reach into his pocket. He'd already warned Atab Manzil. The call is for number 3, who's Senula Alexander. Looks like he's going to the bin for repeated infringements in this Trinity team. So they've conceded a few penalties on the bounce.
Offside. Scrum.
Well, interestingly, Royal College won't opting for a scrum. It's a straightforward penalty if you want the 3 points, but they want to make sure they start the game with 0. They want to make sure there is no deficit that they want to chase. Now, Trinity College will need to try and substitute another player and bring in a front rower, a registered front row player, into the mix.
Who's that going to be? Brought the replacement in.
So it's an interesting call because now the number 8 break is not an option because the Royals Randol Bandar, as you can see, he has to stay out of the scrum since Trinity down to 7 players as well in the scrum.
Well, I think he's going to have a crack anyway. But instead they've gone to Tiven Pereira, and that's the space opening up for Filio Kalyanaratne. Lakni Duherat couldn't get him the first time. And now Royal will lay siege to the line. Tiven to Kavinash. Nice pick up and go that time. Randul looking for the score. Does he get it down? No, he doesn't. The referee will probably have a look. Gihan Yatavara will stop, catch his breath, and figure out, do we go to the TMO Or did I see enough?
So he'll first consult with his assistant referee. Referee Robin Alexander, who is closer to the action.
There's no clear grounding. Robin Alexander confirms that with referee Atavara.
On-field decision try. Can you check the grounding?
Well, that changes things. The on-field decision is a try. So referee TMO Irshad Kader will have to have conclusive proof to overturn this decision. It's going to be an interesting one. Let's watch the replay here. It's like the ball is down there, but who is in control of it?
Trinitians privy to the fact that if they can hold this one up, if they have a hand, one hand underneath that ball, will be held up in the goal.
So what you got to keep in mind is on-field decision is a try. So
Water out, please. Water.
This is a crucial call. And the benefit of the doubt, like in an LBW decision, if it's umpire's call, it stays a try. Or it will be a try rather. It will be confirmed as a try. Can see Atavara wanting to give it there, but just decides that's where it is, just a frame before. That's where the ball is down.
So I think it was the previous angle that we could just see the side of the ball.
Yes, the earlier angle I think was gave a better looking. Here's it zoomed. Referee Atavara gets in the way. Now just here, just here.
Looks like it's Watagoda.
Time on. It's a try.
Well, the try is good. The TMO upholding the decision of the referee, and rightly so, because there was no conclusive evidence on footage that there was any hand or any Trinity body part in between the ball and the ground. So Royal wiping out that deficit. It's a nil all here at the complex. 10 points to 7. Royal in the lead, and they can go ahead by 2 points.
Yes, it was good communication from the entire team of referees. On-field decision was a try. There was clearly no evidence to show very clearly that Watagoda managed to get his hand underneath that. And as a result, the try stands. And Thiven Pereira will look for the extras. And this time he gets them. So it's 12 points to 7. Royal in a 5-point lead today and a 2-point lead on aggregate. Abdullah, you must be relieved.
Yes, well, that's an understatement. The way this game started, the first failed drop kick and the result a try, but Royal have responded brilliantly. Scored 2 tries after, and they've also made Trinity make a lot of tackles in the process as well. That's a formula which has worked for Royal well throughout this season. Be interesting to see how Trinity respond to these first 15 minutes.
Trinitians have been reduced to 14 men, and they've already conceded a try during the absence of Senlo Alexander. That's not a very good kick. Abid Jamil for a moment. Where's Fox to wear the ball? Where's here's Mansil isolated.
Good work that time by Senanayaka, who dived on that ball like a hyena on his prey. And here's Royal now making yards. Ball coming out of the sun into the shade, always difficult to catch. But here's Gamanayaka taking them over the 50-meter line. Ball went forward off the foot and was played again by the player on the ground. Missed by the refereeing team that time. The assistant referee on the side didn't pick it up, so Royal get away with one. But here's the space opening up that time for Seniviratna, the fullback with 14 on his shirt. Tanveer Hassan, the lanky Tanveer Hassan, brought in to bolster the line out. Here's a little bit of space opening up now.
Roll away, tackle it. Get back.
Samarasinghe on the left wing, cutting back infield, keeping the ball alive. Into the mix is Jagit Basnayaka, in from the bench for the sin bin. Fernando to Tiven Pereira. It's not a great kick, but it does the job, as Royal managed to gain 10 meters through it. Contestable kick, that's what they would want. Hassan. Nice tackle that time by Dhanapala. Here's some space opening up for Royal once again. Gamanayaka cutting back in field. Really good continuity this time from Royal. Tiven Pereira puts the kick just behind the front line of Trinity. It's gone backwards, and Anuhas Korituaku will give it to Altaf. Altaf will kick this behind Tiven Pereira, who has to hair back, but will have plenty of time. And a lovely dummy from Pereira. Manages to find Yovindu Athugala. And now Fernando will put a high up and under. Into the sun goes Anuhas Korituaku. Takes it well. Beats one tackle, can't beat the second.
Get back. Stay back.
Altaf rakes it down behind Samarasinghe and just misses the 50-22.
Just short of the 50-22. So Altaf's kicking game is coming into the mix. It's something I think Trinity College missed so far in this game. Trinitians need to settle down, needs to rake in and make sure that they capitalize on every opportunity that comes their way. Royal, on the other hand, are looking to kick. It's very clear, the memo that they've received. Tiven Pereira and the scrum half are looking to make sure that they put the ball up and put pressure on the ball collector from Trinity.
So I have no problem the way the scrum half is kicking. I think he's kicking extremely well from the base. But Tiven, I think, needs to be a bit smarter. If the defense is rushing, then you can understand the kicks he's putting. He's just doing a small punt. But the way the Trinitians are defending, he's either got to keep the ball in hand or he's got to kick very deep. I don't think the short chip kicks are quite going to work.
Not sure Trinity have had a line out yet on their own ball. Royal have had a couple, and they've been pretty safe.
A line out in front of the Royal stands. Spurring the Royal storm.
Nicely done that time by Senanayaka. Winning it in the number 2 position and grinding away. It doesn't matter whether it's inside your own 22 or the opposition 22. This is an energy-sapping tactic. And with the lead now, Royal will want to grind this Trinity team into the dirt. Still available now for Fernando at the base. He gives it to Tiven Pereira under enormous pressure, but taken well by Gamanayaka that time. Brought back, but as Abdullah was pointing out, not the smartest kick from the young fly half. Manzil, the Trinity skipper, will want to spark something for his team. Safe as houses until he dropped that one a little earlier, which conceded the try. And now they switch. Altaf. It's touched, so everyone's onside rather, and Watagoda is the first one to react. Nice little chip through into acres of space. Samarasinghe will wonder what's going to happen this time as Wanasekara drags it into the 22. The bounce of the ball that time causing more problems. Anuhas Korituaku that unfortunately got that wrong. That was Jagit Basnayaka, and dropping the ball with many on the outside.
Outside advantage was coming for Trinity College, will be breathing a massive sigh of relief. And interestingly, what will Trinity do here? Will they go 1 point up in the aggregate, or will they want to go to the lines and make sure that they win this second leg, get in front of Royal? Ideally should give Sean Altaf the opportunity to put the 3 points and make sure that they go one up in the aggregate.
Yes, I think you'd have to say that they go to the post because you're going to keep in mind that they're a player down as well, isn't it? So they want to run the clock down. But you just have to wonder this experiment of playing Senvi Ratne at fullback. I just don't think it seems to be working. It's found on a couple of occasions woefully out of position. It's just putting Royal under a lot of pressure.
It's a no-brainer actually to go for the kick with one man down straight in front of the posts. Give young Altaf a little bit of time and confidence, but the bounce of the ball really has proved the undoing for Samarasinghe at the back.
Well, no problem. Young Altaf comes into the party. 10 points to 12. Trinity College cutting the deficit of this leg to just 2 points and going ahead in the total equation by 1 point. Will want to make sure as they are now restored to their original number. Senula Alexander comes back to the field. So they'll be massively relieved at the fact that they've only given away a try, Shanaka, while they were down to 14 men.
Alexander will take his rightful place on the tight head side as Basnayaka will sit down, maybe to see him a little later on in the game. Altaf with a lovely punt. Good 50-meter punt that was. Nice run also by the Royal back three player. Yes, Kavinash has been dangerous with the ball in his hand. Look at that leg drive, strong from the prop forward. Here it is available once again for Samarasinghe. Cutting back infield, he's been keeping the ball alive nicely.
Rock.
Trinity's defense rushing up, preventing anything happening outside, as now Fernando will look for a little bit of space, finding it nicely. Nice inside pass, but it only finds Anuhas Koditoakko, who was herring back and might have been player in front of the last player who played the ball, but it's all good in the hood as Basnayaka takes it on. Diven Pereira looks for a little bit of an offload, but Koditoakko gets back nicely.
Straight offside again.
Offside is the call from referee Atavara. Trinity cannot afford these mistakes because they know what's coming.
Crunching tackle that time by the Trinity defender, but there was an offside penalty coming for Royal College.
I think this is much better by Royal. They've got to keep ball in hand. I don't think they've got the kicking game to ask questions from this Trinity defense, nor to pose any questions to them. They've just got to run straight, run hard, because whenever Royal is making grounds, they're getting over the gain line, and they're constantly on the front foot. They're making Trinity make a lot of tackles, and if they can do that earlier on in this game, I'm sure they'll reap the dividends of that during the latter part of that second half.
Referee Atavara having a word with Atab Manzil, saying, take a step back, mate. I can't keep giving these penalties away.
Number 24,
Royal fans,
number 24. Number 24.
big smiles on their faces. Altaf with a slightly worried look on his face.
Change.
Important line out for Royal College. They need to hit the mark. They put Trinity under pressure in the first couple. Farouk with an opportunity to really deliver a killer blow here to Trinity College.
Farouk, they go to number 2. Trinity try to hold it, but to no avail. Marching forward. Marching forward to the line. They're just 5 meters out now and they're still going. Tanveer Hassan guiding this maul. Are they going to march it over from 22 meters out? And yes, they've got the try. Took a bit of time to find that maul, like looking for a needle in a haystack, but in the end it was there. And the Royal Maul is doing the damage.
Well, what a performance there. What a performance by the Royalists. Like I said, that would be a killer blow to Trinity, because they marched from the 22-meter mark. Trinity had absolutely no answers to that maul. Take a look at this. Went to the left, went to the right. Trinitians guilty of not rejoining from the back. And if Royal could manage to get the ball out, look at Sean Althoff. What is he doing in the middle of that maul? Absolutely terrific stuff from Royal College, managing to make sure that they get ahead of Trinity 17-10 with the conversion to come as Steven Pereira lines it up.
Yes, well, Royal have left a few points on the field as a result of not playing their number 1 or number 2 choice place kicker really, but nonetheless, terrific performance by the Royal 8. So we have a look at this conversion once again. Just you sense Tiven not very comfortable from the tee, but Royal just doing what they do best, isn't it? Just grinding the opposition down. Trinity just need to be a little bit careful, because this effort is going to really take its toll in the latter part of the game if they are not careful. They've got to get some possession and hold on to the ball.
Farooq, the try scorer, takes it and marches it up.
Get it back.
Trinity just need to
Yellow hold.
make sure they stay in this part of the field, and Royal only need to make sure that they don't
Red hold.
do anything silly. Taken easily by Gamanayaka. Once dropped back. Steven Pereira will drive this one into the center of the field. There's nobody around, and unfortunately Pereira is unable to chase his own kick effectively.
Yeah, but what wonderful vision. He managed to identify where the space was, kicked it and put a good chase. So this is what Royal have got to do. They've got to ensure that they play the territorial game effectively, and if they do that, they've got the forwards who can put the score on the board.
Exactly what you mentioned earlier, Abdullah. You had to complain of Steven Pereira not kicking wisely, and here he's doing exactly that, identifying the space and also putting in a super effort in chasing your kick. As we always say, your kicks are only good as your chase, and Steven Pereira doing just that, and absolutely brilliantly bringing his forwards. Trinity with their first line out. It's going to be important that they hit the mark with those two lanky forwards.
Nicely won that time by Ilangaratne. It looks like Anuhas Kodituakku that time, who puts the ball on the diagonal, looking for Samarasinghe this time. Lovely run. Outstanding work by Seniviratne. Dragged down inside the 22. But a superb run from the fullback. Now Ramdul looking for his second try, the skipper. Wouldn't have wanted to lose that first leg, and will want to show his home fans that they mean business. But unfortunately for Royal, that one is turned over by some good work at the breakdown by the Trinity defense.
Denuk Fernando that time, the prop forward, coming in and making sure that he makes the difference. It did look like Royal College was going all the way. Well, interesting. Tisanga Fernando seems like he's gotten a hit on his head. Lovely bit of work. Really foxes Sachin gets away, looks at space, runs around. Good defensive work by Atab Mansil, the Trinity skipper. Dehan, what a good on the floor.
Time on.
Penalty in favor of Trinity College, who will look to get out of jail. Here's Randul Sena Naika. Tinet Gamage carried it strong, but Dehan Wadagoda being cleaned out. coming from the side. Where's the Royal clearance?
And also, I don't think he helped his cause by not controlling his body weight as well, so it just did not look good. But nonetheless, this is much better by Royal. You can see now they're making inroads to worried-looking coach and assistant coach of Trinity. They would have been pretty happy with that start in the first 5 minutes, but Royal have slowly but surely clawed themselves back into this game.
Trinity have had no ball after that first 10 minutes, isn't it, Abdullah? This is what Royal do so well. They just strangle teams like playing against a boa constrictor. Nicely done that time by Trinity. They managed to win the ball even though it was slightly overthrown. Now they're looking to run. Anuhas Kodituaku. Good ball available for Dhanapala. Stepping back in field was Atab Manzil, the skipper. Makes it available. They've gained some ground, Trinity. And smashed back in the tackle. That was some good defense that time by Atugala. Raked down the field once again. This is going to be the ploy, but this time Samarasinghe is ready. Lovely step from Samarasinghe. Where was this in the first leg, you have to ask? Fernando now opts to keep the ball in hand. A big prop forward, Gamage this time. Fernando, they're not kicking from the base as much as they did. Tanvir Hassan is dragged just over the 50-meter line now. Good defense that time by Tisanka Disanaika, and Royal have coughed it up. And Tiven Pereira will be forced to go down and try and protect this, which he does very well. Randul Senanayaka again, full of running, the skipper reveling in his pet position of number 8. Fernando looks for options but thinks about the kick. It's a good one. In fact, it wasn't. Knock forward is a call from referee Atavara. And it looked like all the Royal chasers may needed to have retreated a bit.
Yes, it did. It surely did look like it was inside the 10-meter circle from the kicker.
Referee Atavara asking for some guidance whether there was some foul play. And I think we noticed this in the first game in the Rugby Championship, that even if the whistle is blown and there's foul play afterwards, it can be actioned. It'll be interesting to see what happened there. Anukas Kodituaku seems okay.
So you want the assistant refs and the refs to be decisive when they make a call, isn't it? And when there's some hesitation, the crowd starts getting into it, and you can see looks like the referee has requested from some assistance from the TMO.
Yes, play in the air was the call from the referee.
Well, Athugala does play the player without the ball, and that does impact the player in the air. So it's going to be interesting. By the letter of the law, even though the whistle has blown, that seems to be a penalty at least.
Can you check the landing?
I think the TMO might want to take a look at another angle if there's one available. I think one behind the player might give him a better look at it, and also he's looking whether the player lands on his shoulder or not, because here Anuhas is on air even though Athugala takes the player without the ball.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Even the player who's without the ball, that's Bandaranayaka, seemed to be in the air just marginally, but in the air nevertheless when he was hit in the back.
Number 7, yellow.
Well, that's got to think that it's either a yellow or a penalty. Just a penalty. That's a big call. Big call.
Ball carrier ने tackle करना
For Atugala. Little bit of indiscipline. It's been such an important defender for Royal. It's a terrier all over the park. And it'll be a big miss. And if Trinity manage to go to half time with one more score, things are going to get interesting at the start of the second half. Lovely touch finder by Anuhas Kodituaku. Outstanding kick with no angle.
Kodituaku, who was the recipient of that charge on there, coming out and delivering that brilliant touch finder, puts Trinity at a wonderful position to strike back. 17 points to 10. They'll want to go into the 11th 17 all. And they will hope that their line out functions perfectly.
Come on.
What a good to throw. They go to the back and it's well stolen again by Royal, but this time Trinity managed to snaffle it. Altaf, Kodituaku, Lakindu Herat. On the peel was Wanasekara, but the ball is knocked forward, much to the relief of the Royal fans. And it is half-time. 17 points to 10. A 4-point lead on aggregate for Royal, but they will desperately want to win this leg and win it comfortably. Trinity will know that they can't afford to lose this game because a 3-point margin is absolutely nothing in it. But what a game it has been so far. Lots of to and fro stuff, end-to-end stuff, and really good play from both teams, Royal in particular.
Yes, you'd have to say that Royal will be pretty pleased going into half-time with the aggregate 4-point lead, but also the way they have performed. They have definitely made Trinity make a lot of tackles in this first half. And the good thing about is whenever they've had possession, they've always managed to get over the gain line. We haven't seen that from Trinity. They just haven't been able to get over the gain line consistently enough. There are a few tactical things Royal could probably do better in that second half to just take Trinity away from the game. But from Trinity's point of view, they need to get a bit more possession, isn't it, Chanaka? That just hasn't been a case for them in this first half.
Yes, they have to secure more ball and they have to make sure they receive those kicks that Tiven Pereira is putting in. They may not be the best kicks, but they are being turned into good kicks by some good chasing from the Royal College outside backs and the midfield as well. 3 tries to Royal, 1 try to Trinity. It's 17 points to 10 at half-time. And there's just a 4-point deficit on aggregate as well to Royal College. And they will be quite happy with that. They won't care whether they win it by 1 or win it by 40, Abdullah. I'm sure they'll like to win it by 40, but even if they win it by 1 point, winning the Bradby is the only thing that this team is going to be satisfied with. So you look out over the Bloomfield ground, the Thurston ground, and the Thurston cricket ground. That's Bloomfield on the right. Introducing Keel's Crest Crispy Chicken, now available at Keel's and other supermarkets island-wide.
Craving for something delicious, so you can try the all-new Keel's Crest Crispy Chicken, juicy tender chicken coated in golden crispy batter. I can personally vouch for this one because when that was shot, I did manage to steal a couple. As we see the junior band of Royal College making their way, and here's how the game started. Dream start for Trinity College. Sachin Duwanasekara, the speedster, touching down, and Sean Altaf duly complies with the conversion, but then came the Royal juggernaut. The forwards getting in on the act, and this is what Royal forgot in the second half of the first leg, although they did wonderfully well in the first half, but managing to make sure that they come back, keep coming back to pester Trinity in those in the front, closer to the line, and Tiven Pereira was second time lucky.
And with that penalty from Sean Altaf, he takes Trinity into double digits. But let's not forget what has been the chief destroyer. This Royal driving maul has completely sapped the wind out of the sails of this Trinity forward pack, who did so well in the last leg. And Royal's confidence was a little bit sapped, but this time they are really going for the jugular. We'll be back after the break.
Hey, have you heard about Z?
Easy.
KYC.
Easy.
Mobile banking. Crazy.
Education loans and salary advances.
Amazing.
Introducing the Digital Youth Account. NDBZ. NDBZ from NDB Bank. The future is banking on us.
හැමදාම ඩැන්ඩෙක්ස් නම්
හැමදාම no problem.
ඩැන්ඩෙක්ස් හිස නිදහසේ ඉදිරියට.
Colombo, beautiful outside and inside.
ඕනම දෙයක් කරන්න විදියක් තියෙනවා. ඒ තමයි තමන්ගේ විදිය. ජීවිතය අත්විඳින්න. ආත්ම විශ්වාසයෙන් නැගී සිටින්න. බෝල්ඩ් ඔපම වෙන්න.
හැමදාම ඩැන්ඩෙක්ස් නම්
හැමදාම no problem.
ඩැන්ඩෙක්ස් හිස නිදහසේ ඉදිරියට.
Aloe vera and mint for freshness. Chamomile for sensitive skin. Lemon and lime for an energetic day. Big shaving foam. A change you must experience.
Cheese රසට යාළුව සෙට් එක ස්මයිලි බෙදනවා ඕන වෙලාවක ස්නැක් එක දැක්කම හිත ෆික්ස් වෙනවා සරද කැමති අය දවස පුරාවට සැරයිල්ලනවා කැලිප්සු මික්ස් එක ඕන වෙලාවක නැගලම යනවා බෝරින් ලයිෆ් එක බ්‍රේක් අප් කරගෙන සල්ස නටනවා ලුණු රටාවට අනියන් කික් එක ෆුල් හැපනින් මනවා අචික්
රටටම රස බෙදෙන මංජි රස බලකාය දැන් අලුත් වෙලා.
Enjoy the infinite possibilities of the freedom of space, inspired by the beauty of our land. Sri Lanka's finest finished, largest sized porcelain tile collection. Majestica. Lanka Tiles. Fine living redefined.
Manicure hot and spicy, cheering got a good navy. Saturday baby, cup ate, match a pandara on the lobby. Saturday baby, hit the talent at the vena, fun in my vinduna. Saradavi at the night, talk to me from the mouth, fun papare play vena, set take a connectuna. Saradavi at the night, talk to me from the mouth. We ma cut to me, fun tamai.
නැවුම් බව රැකදෙන කුමාරිකා හම්බිට් සංවීධී සමකට කැමෝයිල් බික් ෂේවිං ෆෝම් අත්විදිය හැකි වෙනසකට.
නව වැඩිදියුණු කළ ඩැන්ඩෙක්ස් ඇක්ටිව් ක්ලිම්බසෝල් පළමු සේදීමෙන්ම ඉස්සොරි ඉවත් කරයි. හැමදාම ඩැන්ඩෙක්ස් නම්
හැමදාම no problem.
ඩැන්ඩෙක්ස් හිස නිදහසේ ඉදිරියට.
Hey, have you heard about Z?
Easy.
KYC.
Easy.
Mobile banking. Crazy.
Education loans and salary advances.
Amazing.
Introducing the Digital Youth Account. NDBZ. NDBZ from NDB Bank. The future is banking on us.
Manicure hot and spicy, trending fashion around navy. Rasa baby, Papare beat ke Saturday ko tumhe Punjabi. Nata baby, mom, Saturday kapuna, rasa diva paheruna. Saradavi adanari ko tumhi Pantama, fun update vena, hot cup pe kakmana. Saradavi adanari ko tumhi Pantama.
Prima cut to me, fun tamai.
Cheese රසට යාළුව සෙට් එක ස්මයිලි බෙදනවා ඕන වෙලාවක ස්නැක් එක දැක්කම හිත ෆික්ස් වෙනවා සරද කැමති අය දවස පුරාවට සැරයිල්ලනවා කැලිප්සු මික්ස් එක ඕන වෙලාවක නැගලම යනවා බෝරින් ලයිෆ් එක බ්‍රේක් අප් කරගෙන සල්ස නටනවා ලුණු රටාවට අනියන් කික් එක ෆුල් හැපනින් මනවා අචික්
රටටම රස බෙදෙන මංජි රස බලකාය දැන් අලුත් වෙලා.
Aloe vera and mint for freshness. Chamomile for sensitive skin. Lemon and lime for an energetic day. Big shaving foam. A change you must experience.
Colombo, beautiful outside and inside.
ජීවිතය අත්දිනින්න ආත්ම විශ්වාසයෙන් නැගී සිටින්න බෝල්ඩ් ඔපම වෙන්න
Colombo, beautiful outside and inside.
ඕනම දෙයක් කරන්න විදියක් තියෙනවා ඒ තමයි තමන්ගේ විදිය ජීවිතය අත්දිනින්න ආත්ම විශ්වාසයෙන් නැගී සිටින්න බෝල්ඩ් ඔපම වෙන්න
With one more bite of Revelo for sunshine.
ඕනම දෙයක් කරන්න විදියක් තියෙනවා ඒ තමයි තමන්ගේ විදිය ජීවිතය අත්දිනින්න ආත්ම විශ්වාසයෙන් නැගී සිටින්න බෝල්ඩ් ඔපම වෙන්න
නව වැඩි දියුණු කළ ඩැන්ඩෙක්ස් ඇක්ටිව් ක්ලිම්බසෝල් පළමු සේදීමෙන්ම ඉස්සොරි ඉවත් කරයි. හැමදාම ඩැන්ඩෙක්ස් නම්
හැමදාම no problem.
ඩැන්ඩෙක්ස් හිස නිදහසේ ඉදිරියට.
Welcome back to live coverage of the 77th Bradby Shield second leg, live from the Royal College Sports Complex in this wonderful nestled hometown of Colombo for Royal College. It is an area of the city that really is wonderful to look at, especially from this bird's eye view as the drone comes down from the Sky Pavilion and looks down on this Royal College Sports Complex where the home team is sitting pretty on a 7-point lead, but it's not the 7-point lead so much, but the emphatic way in which Royal have gained this 7-point lead that will have a lot of you who are wearing blue and gold at home, wherever you are in the world, with a nice smile on your face. Those of you who are wearing the lion on your chest may be a little bit concerned.
Yes, Royal will be pretty pleased with that first half performance, but they've just got to ensure that they kick on from here. If they can do that, I'm fairly sure that they've got this game pretty much under control.
One stat that we spoke of at the end of the last game, Abdullah, was the fact that Royal had 17 penalties to Trinity's 8, and that has turned on its head this time. Trinity have given away plenty of penalties in between these two 40-meter lines, and Royal have managed to get the best return of investment from those. Dhanapala collects the first kickoff of the second half. Anuhas Kodituaku looking like they're sticking with their kicking game, but Royal's back three have been efficient with it this time. Here's Seniviratna trying to atone for that Vanasekara try. Here's the big man standing in midfield. Fernando. Senanayaka, Tanvir Hassan rather, lands Alexander on his backside. Here's Farooq. Great leg drive from the Royal front row forwards who have done plenty of carrying today. Kalyana Ratna, that ball goes backwards. Dragged to the floor is Seniviratna. Back where they started. They'll go again, Royal. That ball sits up. And look like there might be 2 knock-ons, and Tiven Pereira is disgusted with himself for that half volley that he was sent.
The Trinity player on the ground. Referee stops clock. Wanted to take a look at Dehan Wadaguda. That's where the magic happens. The beautiful pictures brought to you with the dedicated work by all these men behind the scenes, making sure it comes to you seamlessly from the Papare.com. Lovely work by the drone.
It really is. This drone has added so much of depth to our coverage, and if you think it's just a simple thing to sit here with one monitor and a mic, it certainly isn't. There's a hell of a lot of work that goes into the production. We are lucky to be putting the icing on the cake, but there's a lot of work that happens. Tiven Pereira with that unfortunate knock on there. So Athagala is still in the bin.
Coach!
So both teams have suffered yellow cards, Athagala and Alexander. Royal capitalized and scored a try during the time that Alexander was in the bin. Can Trinity do the same? Midfield scrum. The first time they've really had possession of a set piece. Do they have a strike play? Bandaranayaka. Altaf sensibly opts for the high kick. Almost a miscommunication, but Samarasinghe does really well. And the chasing Trinity forwards forced a penalty.
Brilliant work by the Trinitians. Now a decision to be made. Are you going for 3 points or are you going to the line? Altaf definitely has the range. He's the captain giving him confidence. Try it out. Or with Royal, one man down, are you going to the line? Royal demoralized Trinity with the driving maul from the same position. Can Trinity do the same?
Well, it's very clear what Coach Dushant Leke was thinking as Samarasinghe goes off on a bit of a run. Seniviratna rather. Samarasinghe. Sorry to keep getting these mixed up. But the chase was good and the breakdown technique was good.
NDB win percentage currently at 54% to 46 in favor of Royal College. Rightly so, 17 points to 10. Royal in the lead as Trinity. A messy one, but setting it up. A maul from Trinity. Driving forward. Brought down illegally as the referee's arm goes up.
Well, it's a god-awful thing to defend, I'll give you that much. Doesn't matter who's doing it. When you're on the defending side, it is one of the toughest things in rugby to face. Kodituakko this time finds touch in between the 22-meter and the try line. Are Royal going to put up a jumper here, Abdullah, or do they prepare?
I think they will contest. Definitely got a height advantage in the second rows. But they've got to anticipate that in the event they do not collect, that Trinity are going to go again. Got to be prepared for that as well.
Samvidu Pathirana hasn't had a lot of running to do today, but he won't mind that. What a good. Nicely won off the front. No interference, says the referee. And that's Ilankaratne urging his players forward. And it looked like there might be another knock forward. Dhanapala thinks that there was. And if Trinity have knocked on twice over the line, oh dearie me, that's inexcusable.
Producer. Can you check that?
On field decision, no try. Can you check the ground in?
It was right in front of us, Shanaka, just at our footsteps. And by the looks of that, that was a loss forward. Dhanapala, all he had to do was ground that ball. Well, this is Patirana's hand doing the job for Royal College. Incredible stuff. Patirana, take a bow. You might have just won Royal the Bradby.
Well, he might also have put in a high tackle and conceded a penalty try.
So was that a high tackle? That's something the TMO will take a look at.
Can you have a first angle again?
Referee Rashad Carter taking a look at that. Swinging arm straight onto the face. That could be a penalty try with a card coming out.
Well, that's an interesting call for referee Rashad Carter. It could be a match-turning call. It is around the neck. There's no attempt to wrap. It is a swinging arm.
I have a decision. That's a foul play. Number 7, stiff arm for the neck. Mitigating factor, you can reduce the yellow card. You got the penalty try.
Well, the decision is clear. A stiff arm, yellow card to the number 11, and that is going to be a penalty try in favor of Trinity College, who will get the score and a penalty try. Correct decision being made, and Trinity jubilant right underneath the post. They will get 7 points, and
Number 11.
Royal number 11 Desas Patirana will be sent to the bench.
You just mentioned Sangvidhu Patirana and how he hasn't done much running, but an intervention. Can see it here, it's quite clear. The ball would have been touched down if not for that blow to the head.
Lovely clear instructions by a referee Carter. Stiff arm, foul play, mitigating factor, hence the penalty try.
Stiff arm onto the ball or the head?
It was around the neck, wasn't it, Abdullah?
Nowadays, anything above the shoulder, you are in trouble, and which is why Patirana is in the Norwich. Trinity playing with renewed passion now. They are up 2 men.
Kick put in by Vanasekara. Is he going to get there in time? Good discipline from the winger to hold on till Thiven Pereira caught it. Now Randul Seranayaka goes the other way. Is he going to turn this game on its head? It's knocked forward. And Altaf sensibly just puts it into touch in front of the Royal bench. Well. 17 all. Royal down to 13. What does Trinity do here? Does Royal show character? Do the Tuskers dig their feet in, or do the Lions roar?
Oh, you can't script these, can you, Shanaga? Number 8, the skipper, coughing it up. Trinity, now with a numerical advantage, need to be sensible, need to calm down. If they can score again, they will put a lot of pressure on Royal College. Tisanga Disanayaka has to step back because Royal has still down a number in the forwards.
Bandaranayaka knocks it on, and this is what Trinity cannot afford to do. Allow Royal back into this game, and that's exactly why what Bandaranayaka has done. Royal now will need to just run this clock down. Make sure that they get their players back and then just go back to what worked for them in the first half.
Yeah, that's right. I think Royal have, in this first few minutes, not clung on to position as well as they should. So hopefully they'll benefit from that error by the Trinity scrum half.
Jamil having a conversation with Filio Kalyanratne. Must be about the weather, I'm sure. This is what Royal are doing smartly, making sure that they take time off the clock. There's plenty of time in this game. No need to panic for either side. And they've traded blows. The scrum halves unused to picking it up from in between the second row's feet.
Never easy, isn't it, Shanaka, when you are used to your second row, slowing it up, giving it to you on a platter, rolling ball, thinking too much about the pass to Tivain Pereira. Now, Bandar Naika, are you going to repeat that, son, or are you going to collect that one because you are without number 8 as well? Trinity will be the more settled outfit now since they've scored in this half. They'll want to make sure that they keep the good work going. They have the numerical advantage. Royal have to play out of their skin. They are at home in front of their home crowd.
His back is Atugala. He would have had a bit of a rest and he will be raring to go. Such a good tackler. Will make a difference. Altaf to Lakindu Herat. It's not a great kick. Not a great kick at all because Seniviratne has been in good form running. Manages to break 3 tackles, eventually brought down by Herat himself. And now Royal with the replacements on board. Samarakun is on the pitch for the blue and gold. Gamage crashing in to the first line of defense. Randul doing so much more from number 8 than he did at number 12.
Advantage.
Not rolling is a call from referee Atavara. Ball seemed available, but Farooq, access scrum half. Tivain Pereira will put the kick in knowing that there was a penalty marked by Manzil. Shan Altaf gets in there, the littlest guy on the pitch.
Alex, number 12 to own karan. Number 12 happen about it.
Trinity conceding penalties after penalty. They need to make sure that they have that discipline on point. Royal now with an opportunity. Do they go to 3?
12. Captain, unsigned captain. Between other and give up to the other. All the command not being given the better. I give them on take.
Anu has Kodituaku and Gamanayaka being told to behave themselves.
I think that's good communication by the referee, isn't it? Laying down the law very clear, saying that no argy-bargy is off the ball. Just clamp down on it in next person who does it.
Brilliant touch finder by Tivain Pereira. It's as good as you score a try with this bunch of forwards Royal possess. Royal know they can get ahead. All they need to do is to try and catch this one, set it up. They are confident and the locks say, we're ready. Make sure you hit the mark.
Bhuvanega Senanayaka playing with a scrum cap. Sorry, Veera Surya playing with a scrum cap. It's Senanayaka who wins it. Sacked by Trinity illegally and they'll have another penalty. It's almost inevitable what's going to come. Samarakon off the bench. They're using him, the fresh legs. Latching on nicely. This is where Royal's technique is so good. Ball looked like it was fumbled at the back of that ruck, so they will go back for the penalty. And Trinity will have to worry about another yellow coming.
Seems like Dehan Watakoda again has dislocated his shoulder. I think this is the 3rd time.
Get in. Captain, penalty.
Wadagoda has been asked by the referee whether
Gold 3-in-1, cool blast, gold hair and body wash, which is ideal for you. Doesn't take up much space. All you got to carry is that one. The cool blast from goal. Here's Royal College. Do not collapse is clear instructions from the referee to Trinitians.
Shafiq is on at number 9 for Royal in place of Fernando, who's had a good game. Veerasurya in the front. Trinity drive them infield. Not the ideal place. And another penalty is coming. Will Royal need it? Probably not. And the try is scored. From the moment they conceded that penalty, everyone in the ground knew what was coming. But it was only the Trinity pack that could do something about it, and they haven't been able to.
Incredible stuff by Royal College. Absolutely terrific. Every time they collect that ball, this time around, they've made sure that they correct the mistakes of the first leg. And their formation, it was never easy going to stop that. Trinity guilty of bringing that ball down illegally, and referee Atavara right on spot.
So that's the kind of positions Royal will just need to try and get themselves into, isn't it, Sudarshan? They've just got to play that territorial game, and if they can get into the correct positions, unlike up in Kandy, Trinity has struggled to contain that driving maul. Shafiq with the conversion. Just misses it, but much better strike. Trinity will need to be a bit on watch now because Royal have got one of their better place-kicking options on the ground.
It's also a tactical move to bring him on late in the game, just in case there's a bit of pressure on the aggregate scoreline. He can maybe knock it over from about 40 meters out. But Buddhika Talagampala, the forwards coach for Trinity, will be disappointed by what he's seen today, Sudarshana, because Trinity did so well to defend this Royal Mall. I'm not saying it's easy by any stretch of the imagination, but they haven't looked like they wanted to put their bodies on the line. Farooq knocking that ball on.
Yet again, proving that the teams are really vulnerable after scoring a try. Every time you score, you need to make sure that you refocus and you're ready to go. I think Farooq that time was auditioning for LPL and not looking to play the Bradby. 22-17. 5-point lead in the second leg. 2-point lead on the aggregate. What will Trinity do from here on?
Well, I could do with some crispy chicken, I'll tell you that much. That's how stressful it is inside here. The commentary box trying to keep this Trinity and Royal from coming to blows, as Talagampala and Fazil Marija look concerned. Seniviratna just G'ing up Shafiq there. This Royal team is psyched for the win. That much is obvious. Dushant Luke looking far more calm than he did maybe about 20 minutes ago.
So you just got to keep in mind that Royal are yet a player down, isn't it? So they're down to 14 players. Good attacking position for Trinity. So Royal defense will need to be on guard.
Well, one would argue that it's a winger that's missing Abdullah, so they may not really miss him too much. 6 handling errors for both teams. Bandaranayaka. Nice looped play for Wanasekara into the line, but they haven't been able to use the incisive speedster. Altaf not touched the ball much this time, and Nabil Yahya looks like he's on the pitch for Royal. Picks it up. Is he going to go into the corner? Yes, he is. Nabil Yahya will seal the Bradby for Royal. Trinity had to play. They had to throw it around. It was high-risk rugby. And Nabil Yahya, coming in off the bench, has had such a difficult season with injury. And what a way for him to put the finishing touches on this Bradby campaign.
Absolutely against the run of play. Brilliant stuff by Yahya. The fresh legs coming onto the park. And Nabil Yahya, he has got a background of football. Showed wonderful control. Pouncing on this loose pass. Trinity defense was flat. Just showed tremendous composure to just collect that ball. You can see his knee heavily strapped. But just those fresh legs. Yahya putting the finishing touches. And Royal, courtesy of that try, have now gone into a 7-point lead.
10 points up in this second leg with the conversion to come. 7 points up on aggregate. Nabil Yahya looked like he had a stroll in the park. Trinitians were baffled. Shafiq with the conversion, which goes astray. Scores will remain at 27-17 in this second leg. 37-30 on aggregate. Are we heading for another draw?
Yes, one problem Trinity have faced throughout this game is their inability to get over the gain line, isn't it? They've been playing most of their rugby behind the gain line. And when you're constantly being put under that pressure, an error is more or less like to come sooner rather than later, and that's what you saw from Yahya pouncing on that loose ball.
They really haven't had an opportunity because of this stifling Royal defense to move the ball. It looks like that's what they came out to do with those short passes amongst the forwards. And now Tiven Pereira will use his knowledge of this ground to best effect and rake the ball to the corners.
That's brilliant. That's just what Royal wanted. Get back into the Trinity half, put Trinity under pressure, make Trinity play, do all the plays, make them take risks, and Royal's defense has been pretty stout, so I don't think they'll be too worried about Trinity launching attack from this kind of a distance.
Trinity College haven't had a possession to play with.
Number 4.
Interestingly, Trinity wanted to take it inside the 22 meters. Trinity wanting to go with the short man line out, 4 men. Lovely collection that time.
Ilangaratna has been good in the line out. Looked like it might be another high hit on the wrong foot, but referee Atavara says play on. Smashed back in the tackle. This is Royal at their best. Beautifully done by Tanveer Hassan. Here's Samarakon. They've brought on the big man to create more damage, and he's doing exactly that.
Get back!
Kavinash. Pick and go from Royal. This is Randul. He'll desperately want a second try. Kavinash again. Tiven Pereira looking to go on his own. Brought down by Lakindu. It's knocked forward, and Trinity will try to steal it back.
Advantage over!
Advantage over calls referee Atavara as Shan Altaf puts this one. The bounce of the ball beats Seniviratna. But he's been full of running since that initial mistake. He will be the most relieved man when Trinity walk away with the Bradby, if they do. Patirana is back on the park. Royal have been winning the collisions except a couple. Trinity's body language seems to have deserted them. Randul to Yahya, the match winner. Dances again, trying to tiptoe down the touchline, but Trinity's defense that time had enough for him.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's very comfortable with his knee being heavily strapped. He looks a different player to what he was last time. At fullback, he was absolutely wonderful for Royal College. And for Royal's sake, we really do hope that he can recover, because he has one more year left
29. 29.
playing that gold blue
29, go.
jersey.
29.
Here's the play. Just no acceleration there. You've got that knee injury, you always tend to suffer from a little bit of diffidence. Such a trauma.
It's interesting that they have put him on the wing, isn't it? And they've continued to keep Seni Viratne at fullback.
I think there's been a lot of running.
So that's a banner from the team of 1973 with a message for one of their teammates, Raminal Samarasinghe, a real stalwart of Royal Rugby, unable to attend today's game. I'm told that it's the first time he has missed the Colombo leg of the Bradby after 55 years. So we'll come back to that.
Well, I'm sure he'll be watching at home and very happy with what he's seeing. As Hassan dominates another carry. Juggle, but doesn't matter. As Gamanayaka puts the back of the hand pass, and Samarasinghe, Seni Viratne. Here's Kalyanaratne in space. Dragged down with a desperate tackle. Dhanapala looks like he had it, but just didn't. Nice long ball. Royal have come to win this in style now. Randul Senanayaka opts for the conservative approach this time. Kavinash. Here it is for Tiven Pereira once again. They're screaming for it outside him. Patirana now goes in to protect the ball, and Shafiq will look for Samarakone, who knocks it on, and his opposite number, Tenuk Fernando, will grab this one, but Shan Altaf has little to no option but to thump this one downfield for Nabil Yahia to return the favour. Bounces this one, but Altaf is in position. At which point will Trinity throw caution to the winds? Slicing off the outside of the boot, but Seni Viratne will be relieved that that ball goes into touch.
Yes, you could say that it's not Seni Viratne's natural game, the kicking game. He's more of a runner. But just coming back quickly, Shanagar, to that banner which we just saw. So the banner says, we all miss you today, but we look forward to seeing you fit at well at the next year at the Bradby. So from the Royal College Rugby Fraternity, we wish Raminal all the very best and look forward to seeing him next year.
Thank you, Abdullah. And I think, Raminal, you may not be here at the first leg, but you were definitely part of this first leg of the Bradby. And we're happy that we could be a little part of that.
Dhanapala to Anuhas Kodituaku, bumps off the tackle of Tiven Pereira. The ball was ripped. It's available once again. That ball looked like it went forward. And the referee Yatavara was right on the spot to see it. So an attacking scrum for Trinity. What can they do with it?
59 minutes on our clock. Kodituaku with a big thump up, but losing the ball in contact.
The level of dominance Royal has had in this game, just think that with regard to the Bradby, it's just still one score difference. Trinity, you have to say, would be pretty happy, isn't it, Sudarshan? Because Royal has pretty much dominated this contest physically as well as positionally. So Trinity will be pretty happy that they're yet in the game, but the next score is going to be crucial, you'd sense, isn't it? We're just approaching the last 10 minutes. Trinity have got to be the team that scores next.
Even if Trinity get a penalty, it's going to put the pressure back onto Royal. 27-20 reads much better than this 10-point margin that currently it is. And Royal will then maybe start to not be able to play with the freedom that they're playing at the moment. Altaf, Kodituaku. Into the fray is Manzil. The skipper hasn't had a lot to do today except grasp at Royal forwards. Tenuk Fernando has not had a fantastic game as they look infield. Nicely done. As I say that, he beats 2 tackles and offloads. Nicely done. Bandaranayake, offside is the call. And here's Ilangaratne. Found himself in space a little earlier on in the game, but just had no finish. Altaf spinning, dragging much bigger players into the 22. Now Trinity. This is the last throw of the dice from them. Straight through goes Manasekara. They need the ball in his hand for something to happen to Trinity. Altaf. Dhanapala stepping back in, was denied a try a little earlier on in the piece. Bandaranayake was pointed to. And this time it's Ilangaratne once again. He seems a reluctant carrier of the ball but manages to do enough. Bandaranayake screaming for his forwards.
Stay high, Moss. Get back. Get back, Royal.
Trinity's latch-on technique is not as sound as Royals, so they need to be careful of what they're doing. Just as I say, an isolated player going in, if they are not careful with their ball, Royal defense has been strong. They need to make sure that they really take care of possession.
Gamage went in for it but released just in time. Again caught in the tackle. Thiven Pereira take a bow. Hamdan Faisal was caught in possession. And Thiven Pereira and Disas Patirana did beautifully to make sure that they turned that ball over. That is outstanding defense. And if Royal walk away with this, Bradby, these are the moments that they can look back on.
Absolutely. And again, the problem which Trinity faced, their inability to get over the gain line, isn't it? And you have got to give credit to that Royal defense. When you're playing on the back foot, there's no forward movement for the 3 quarters, and that is something which just Trinity haven't been able to generate.
It was the undoing of the Royalists in the first leg, Abdullah. That defense conceding way too many penalties, which gave Trinity the opportunity to try and play the ball in front of them. Thiven Pereira, brilliant stuff. Any third rower will be very proud of what that first 5-8 did for Royal College.
Yes, well, he does play like a third row, doesn't he? We remember that brilliant tackle he did in the first leg to save that try for his team. So in the final 10 minutes of this second half.
Surprised to see Faisal on the pitch. Looks like he has come on for Jamil, who looked like he was a little dangerous when he touched the ball. Nicely stolen by Trinity that time. Royals line out, letting them down for the first time in just over an hour. There's a long way to go to the try line if this is the approach Trinity are taking.
Get back!
You can see the Royal fringe defense, Sudarshana. They know that this is their area of the game. This is where they're dominant. You can see them itching for the fight.
Royal Finch defense, like you mentioned, Chanaka telling Trinitians, come at us. We're ready for you. Trinity, privy to it. Tenuk Fernando, strong in the tackle, still on his feet.
Bandaranayake needs options. So does Altaf. And Anuhas Kodituaku has been so good for Trinity all Bradby in the first leg and the second, but that time it's just too much pressure for the youngster.
Yes, I'm going to sound like a broken recorder, but again, no go for forward momentum for Trinity, isn't it? They're playing the game on the back foot. And with this Royal defense just not being able to penetrate. You could see Anuhas Kodituaku has had a brilliant game overall, but they are just taking his eyes off the ball because his inability to run onto the ball with that Royal defense staring at him, just not good enough from Trinity's point of view.
Well, the NDB Bank win percentage has severely shifted towards Royal College.
Number 9.
Was about 54 to 46 earlier, but now 65% in favor of Royal. I would think those are conservative odds. And this is a good substitution. Bandaranayake looked like he was a little tired, and the Trinity bench have spotted it.
Yes, just approaching the last 5 minutes. You sense that the team, Trinity, absolutely need to score next, isn't it, Shanaka? If Royal do get any form of a score, then you'd have to say the Bradby is going to stay in Colombo.
Shafiq to Tiven Pereira. Drives this one as long as he can. Manzil is back. The skipper, what can he spark? Is there a counter-attack in this Trinity team? Altaf does well to bounce this one into touch. And they'll now have to contest a line-out. Hope that they can win back some ball, and Royal will just go to their maul all day.
Number 6.
Interestingly, Trinity adopted the territorial game in the first leg, and they never played rugby in their own 50, in their own 40. They wanted to come and play in the opposition half. This time around, they haven't been able to do that because they haven't held on to possession very well. And Royal, to their credit, have dominated possession, and which is why they are 10 points up in this second leg with 5 minutes to go. And with a line out coming their way, they'll be pretty happy to slow things down, slow the game down, and make sure that they manage these final closing minutes of this second leg. Again, another tip by Trinity College, who managed to go through.
Dhanapala was the one who drove through. Lucky Hera. This time it's a good run by Hamdan Faisal, brought down with a high tackle. And this will be an interesting call. Do Trinity go for the posts, or do they go for a scrum? And he knew it. Samrakon knew even before the referee blew his whistle that he was out.
They had already taken off his scrum cap. Shanika, Trinity needs 7 points to draw the Bradby. Trinity needs 10 points to win the game. Trinity opts to go to the touchline, and Anuhas Koditoaku brings his team inside the 22 meters.
The Royal lineout that has been so solid throughout this game, they've just lost 2 consecutive lineouts. It just shows in those crucial moments just the ability to make decisions. As we have a look at that high tackle, absolutely the correct decision by referee Atawara. So Royal will have to manage the remainder of this game with 14 players.
Oh, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. Not straight. I would definitely have taken the 3 there, guys. Never played a Bradby, but I would have taken the 3.
1-1, number 1.
20-27, and get the kickoff against 14 men. Put it back where you started and start all over again.
Especially given the fact that Sean Altafi has been in very good kicking form. New number 2 in, who is a thrower. A lot of pressure in a Bradby in front of all this sellout crowd.
This is going to be critical what Royal do from this scrum, isn't it? They're virtually just outside their 25. Like to see them just clearing their lines. Bit worried the way Tiven Pereira is positioned. It's like he's standing wide, not rather towards the scrum.
Shafiq, with a confident smile on his face.
Advantage.
And the penalty is coming. Driving up is the call from referee Atavara.
It's again decision making, isn't it, at crucial times. We saw Royal line out faltering at those last 2 occasions. Trinity this time just not holding on to their composure. Bit over eager and just trying to apply a bit of pressure, but not legally. So approaching the final 2 minutes. Has there been a more important line out for Royal this season?
90 seconds left on the clock. But even if Trinity scores 7 points, it will be a tie. The second one we are seeing in very short time, and Royal will retain the Bradby, so there's no danger of losing this, Abdallah. Nice throw Outstanding throw that time to Veera Surya. So, truck and trailer is a call. Accidental offside. So it will be a scrum to Trinity. Do they have a strike play off this base?
Last roll of the dice here at the complex. Can Trinity draw this one, salvage some pride? But remember, if they draw this one, the Shield will remain at the Reed Avenue. Can Trinity make something of this one? Royal will defend for all money. The defense have been absolutely brilliant.
Hamdoun, Altaf looping around. They're playing with some depth now, but nowhere to go for Wanasekara. Beautiful tackle by the Royal defender, and the penalty is won. That's it for Royal. That's the end of the game, surely.
Philo Kalyana Ratna, your outside centre. Royal, for the first time in a long while, have kept him on for the entire game, and Royal have won the Bradby Shield. What a brilliant performance. After an upset victory for Trinity in Kandy, they have come back showing all guts to gain glory for their team, for their alma mater. What a brilliant performance.
Shanaka, I think we need to decide on the NDB player of the match, and I think it's, for me personally, it's difficult to look away from Thivain Pereira for all his kicking duties, marshalling the troops, but mostly I think for his defensive work. Absolutely brilliant stuff from Pereira, and he will be my nominee for the NDB player of the match.
Have to agree with you there, Sudarshan. I was thinking about that myself, and it looks very much like for everything he's done on the attacking and defensive end of the field, some of those kicks that he put in to make sure that Royal retain their territorial dominance, and for being a fly half and still making those tackles, Thivain Pereira is our deserved man of the match in this second leg of the Bradby. The Trinity players looking dejected as they must, but they played their part in this, Abdullah. They managed to bring up an upset in the first leg, and outstanding work for their first try in the second leg. Fazil Marija knows that there will be more Bradbys to come, but for the moment he will console his troops, who have played a fantastic game but just been fouled short by a Royal team that was determined not to lose today.
Absolutely. I think you have to give a lot of credit to Trinity, the way they turned up. Have to say, the way they had to play most of the game on the back foot. For them to have yet stayed in the game, you have to give Trinitians a lot of credit. You can see Randul Bandara being hoisted. Royal will be thrilled, more relieved, you'd have to say, for the fact that they managed to retain the shield.
Well, I think they would have been relieved if they won by just a single digit or a couple of points, Abdullah. But towards the end, they had a 10-point gap and they were able to play. And they managed to get some runs in. They managed to show that they're not just a mauling team. And that's exactly what I think will make them really, really happy about this Bradby victory. They've come from behind for only the third time in this 77-year history of this historic encounter. And what a way to do it. Since 2011, when they came back after that first comeback in 1998, when they completely upset the form books to lose and conspired to lose that first leg. But this time around, another upset in the first leg was not able to be capitalized on by this Trinity team. Atab Manzil can scarcely believe what has happened here today, but they will go back, reflect on an outstanding performance in a losing cause.
Absolutely. I think Royal, you'd probably have to say they got the job done, but it could have very well be so much more convincing. But Trinity just hung in there, as did Chanaka, and see Royal's skipper Randul Bandara shifting to the number 8 position today. Had a big game as well, isn't it? Constantly got over the gain line, and Royal eventually ending up as victors. But it all looked very nervy at the start, wasn't it? Trinity with a 3-point lead, getting that first score within the first 5 minutes. It looked ominous for Royal, but to their credit, they held their composure and managed to snatch a 27 points to 17 victory.
Contrasting emotions in the two camps. Royal jubilant and rightfully so. They managed to come back after a first leg defeat, just like they did in 1970s, just like they did in 1998. Here they are doing it for the Reed Avenue School, managing to make sure that the shield stays at the Reed Avenue. Trinitians don't have anything to be shy about up the lights. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. They poured their heart out. Royal were the much fancied side, and a lot of people would have expected Royal to steamroll Trinity College, but Trinity College really did show a lot of heart.
Yes, man to man, you'd have to say Royal had the better players, but Trinity just substituted that with some good rugby rounds and just showed sheer determination and guts to hang in there. And as a result, Trinitians can be very proud of their performance. Always knew that coming down to Colombo, just to maintain that 3-point lead was never going to be an easy task, but Trinity hung in there. We all thought after that first try in those first 5 minutes, I definitely feel quite a bit of sweat pouring down my forehead, but a bit of credit to the Royal lads also. They held their composure and played to their strengths. I think that's the most important thing. They played to their strengths and eventually managed to retain the Bradby.
Retain the Bradby, all right. Royal College doing it in style, and the decisive moment of that game, definitely I think both of you will agree with me, it was that 22-meter maul that Royal set up and managed to drive through. That would have broken the hearts of the Trinitians, that would have broken the confidence of the Trinity forwards who dominated Royal. We spoke about this pre-game as well, how that forwards battle is going to pan up and how important that was going to be, and Royal came up trumps.
And also another thing I noticed in this game is Royal's bench. I thought they came and they had a big impact as well, isn't it? It's not just the forwards. Guys like Shafiq, who was the regular starting scrum half, came off the bench just at that crucial time when the game was in the balance. And then you saw Nabil Yahya being placed on the wing, which is a surprising decision, but it paid off. He pounced on that loose ball. You're talking about that driving maul, but I thought that absolutely against the run of play, his deft kick and collection and the try that just seemed to take the wind out of Trinity's sails as well. So
end of the day, it turned out to be the decisive try that won this Bradby for Royal College. Otherwise, that would have been questionable. But here we are, Royal victorious at the complex. Royal victorious after staging a brilliant comeback in this 77th Bradby Shield 2023 as we await the all-important award ceremony. But I tell you, this is going to be a favorite for all the Royalists who will party through the night, who will make sure that they celebrate this one with valor. They will celebrate this one until the midnight. Kill's Crest crispy chicken will be your accompaniment.
It looks like there are a few Thomians in the crowd as well. Have to make mention also of Royal's back three, isn't it, Abdullah? Even after that first mistake that allowed Vanasekara in for that try, I thought Seniviratna returned from that and ran the ball back well, as did Samarasinghe on the wing. And this Royal back three was much better than they were in the first half. So the positional changes that Coach Leuke meant, and also the way he used his bench, I thought was technically quite good. And that's where Royal may have upset the Trinitians.
Yes, there were quite a few positional changes today when I came and Sudarshana passed the team sheet on to me. I was a bit surprised to see the number of positional changes and the team and the changes in the starting 15 as well. But it seemed to be a concerted effort, and it has paid dividends. So Royal retained the Bradby Shield, as we see Coach Dishant Luke just congratulating his team on a very good performance. And as we have a look at the highlights of the second half.
That was the penalty try that was awarded to Trinity College, but then Royal going to their trusted maul. This is what broke the Trinity hearts. Against run of play. This is not Nabil Yahya on his full sprint. It looks like he's jogging. Like an African middle distance runner. Goes all the way. He was just substituted for a little while for a blood-bean injury. But what a memorable outing for Nabil Yahya.
Absolutely. I think we know that he's not the fastest player on the field, but it was just those fresh legs, wasn't it? And as you can see, Royal have actually outscored Trinity 5 tries to 2. Probably left quite a few points on the field as well without fielding a first choice player's kick. Otherwise the scoreline would have been quite different. Trinity converting both the tries which came their way and added a penalty as well. But the player of the match, Royal's vice-captain Tiven Pereira. If young Altaf from the number 10 position was the most outstanding player up in Kandy, Tiven Pereira definitely put his mark on today's game in a much more different kind of a way, isn't it? It was just not his normal fly-off skills, but the work at the breakdown. As we have a look at some of the stats of the game.
Penalties considered is going to be a crucial factor. At Kandy it was Royal who were the guilty party, but here Trinity College conceding 11 penalties. 92 tackles made by both teams, but Royal's 92 tackles were more effective than Trinity's, not making them break that gain line like Abdullah mentioned time and time again. Turnovers taken, Trinity College 3 and Royal 1. I think Royal turnovers should have been much higher than that. The number Tiven Pereira, I think I can count Tiven Pereira doing 2 or 3 turnovers there, but the line-outs and the handling errors piling up for Trinity College.
Well, I'm surprised at that first stat, 92 tackles for both teams, but I did think that Trinity would have made quite a few more. And the few penalties that Royal conceded late on in the game allowed Trinity to come back and make it that deficit that made the Royalists a little bit nervous. But in the end, it was just too many penalties conceded by Trinity. And the turnovers are also, I thought Trinity conceded too much ball to Royal, and the handling errors also, that one crucial handling error that led to Nabil Yahya's try. So that's something you don't see on the stat sheet, the consequences of those handling errors, and that was much more in favor of Royal College. So 5 tries to 2, Royal winning that one. And very deserved, you have to say, that even though that little hiccup of the first leg they managed to put behind them. And we talked about Royal being a second half team, and the second leg is a second half of the Bradby, and boy didn't they show up.
The NDB Player of the Match, sponsored by NDB Bank and selected by the Papare.com, will now be presented by Chairman of NDB Bank, Mr. Sriyan Kure, who has a massive smile on his face. Former Royal skipper of the 1983 side, played his club rugby for CRNFC. Tiven Pereira picking up the award as the NDB Player of the Match, and rightfully so. I think he was absolutely phenomenal. Royal's deputy skipper. The winner will receive an NDBZ account. Thank you very much, Mr. Kure. I'm sure you will be a very much delighted man. Take a look at those Royalists. They are brimming. They are bouncing. They want to get their hands on that shield, which has been in their possession. They don't want to let that one go.
Well, I think they're very happy that they won't have 2 more weeks of driving mall practice at the hands of Deshant Luke. I can tell you that much. They're really relieved, but also super happy that they won what is going to be the biggest trophy that a lot of these boys will play for in their lives.
Well, don't speak too soon, Shanaka. Next week it's going to be Major Milroy Fernando, and knowing Deshant Luke, he'll want a full trophy cabinet. He'll want to make sure that these boys put behind the success of the Bradby Shield when they meet the Green Machine next week here at the same place. As we take a look at the crowds who wait until the all-important awarding of the Bradby Shield. Incredible game, isn't it? It was very entertaining from the get-go. Abdullah, 2 minutes in, Trinity scores, and you would have thought it's going to be a difficult one for Royal College, but knowing Royal College, they did come back. But now everything's ready for the all-important presentation. And as we cut over to Master Bimsar De Silva of Royal College, who will take you through the presentation.
Now it is time to give away the Sumitra Arachi Trophy with an aggregate of 28 to 20 points. The shield goes to Trinity College, Kandy. To give away the trophy, I'd like to invite the principal of Royal College. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for one more time for Trinity College under 16 team. All right, I can feel that adrenaline running through your veins. And now to the moment you all been waiting for, to give away the 77th Bradby Shield. And for that, I'd like to call the chief guest for the day, Mr. Feroz Shuhaib, representing the 1984 team. Sir, please come to the front. Ladies and gentlemen, with an aggregate of 40 to 30 points, and the winners of the 77th Bradby Shield is Royal College, Colombo!
Bradby Shield, but the Royalists will want to climb up to the podium. They'll want to make sure they go up to top and make sure they relish these moments. Iconic platform here at Royal Complex.
Yes, what a moment for these young lads. It's a picture opportunity that they will keep for the rest of their lives, and thoroughly deserved as well, who are under a lot of pressure coming into this second leg. But they withstood that and got the job done, you'd have to say. Randul Bandara, Tiven Pereira next to him. And Dinet Kamage, front row forward, was in the thick of everything Royal did today. Absolutely brilliant scenes. And I thought another thing that definitely had an impact is Philo Kalyanaratnam staying on the park for the entire duration of the game, isn't it? In the run-up to this second leg, he was being kept for about 60 minutes. They were trying to manage his knee injury. But in this do-or-die battle, he stayed on the field and made some crucial defensive tackles from that number 13 position as well. So
He's a very steadying influence, isn't he, Abdullah? And that's something that Royal really needed, which they didn't perhaps have in the first leg with him being at the back. But this time he was in more of a position to influence proceedings, and he did it very well.
Yeah, that's right. I think he's got a lot of rugby sense as well, isn't it? He just reads the game extremely well, both defensively and offensively as well. And his presence on the ground for that entire duration of 80 minutes definitely played a part.
A very happy man, Dushyant Leuke, the head coach of Royal College, hasn't lost a Bradby as head coach. What a record to have for him. He's won the league with Royal College, won the Bradby as a player, won the Bradby as a coach, defended the Bradby as a coach as well. Key stats of the game yet again for you: 27 points to 17 in favor of Royal College, who touched down 5 times this game, only managing to convert 1. Trinity touched down twice, converting both, and with a penalty they were in the game, but Royal College really sapping the energy out with a score against run-up play and making sure that they win the Bradby Shield for the 5th consecutive time. Absolutely terrific stuff, with the NDB player of the match being awarded to Tivain Pereira of Royal College for his good all-round good work, both in attack and in defense, delivering a stupendous performance here at the complex. The tally now has been updated, the gap ever so reducing. 77 games played, Royal College notching up their 36th victory, and Trinity, that 39, has been stationary since 2014.
Doing what Tuskers do, isn't it, Sudarshana? Slowly but surely inching their way towards that magical 40 mark. Who's going to reach it first? If Royal's recent history is to be considered, then surely Royal are going to get there first. But Trinity, have they showed enough in this 77th encounter? Have they showed enough in 2023 to say that they will reach that 40 mark before Royal do?
Well, while this took all the concentration now this week, the Dialogue Schools Rugby League is not over. The round 2 of the Dialogue Schools Rugby League is coming up next week. 4 teams have managed to qualify for the second round, and Royal College being one of them. Petrites will take on the Antonians for the Rector's Trophy. That's on 11th of August in Bambalapiti, and St. Peter's, who are still chasing that all-important title, will want a bonus point win against the Antonians. Antonians will come down to spoil the party for St. Peter's College and make sure that they try and grab that one, as Royal College lift up their beloved manager Tommy up in. And the next game will be, of course, on the 12th of August, where Royal host Isipatana College, same place at the same time, to make sure that they try and win the Major Milroy Trophy and throw a spanner in the works of the Green Machine. As Royal yet again lift up T.S. Silva, their kicking coach. Nice to see those pictures, and it is an absolutely brilliant celebration for everybody that's wearing blue gold.
Yes, great gesture by the Royal team. Not forgetting their support staff, who've done a really good job keeping these boys healthy on the park, sorting out all the logistics. It's going to be a real celebration. It's going to be quite an effort to get the boys down for that Isipatana game, is it? So that'll be a task for the coaching staff as well.
Well, with that, with all the Royal celebration, as Radhika Hityarachi is lifted up, their assistant coach, they might be looking for Dushyant Leuke. But with that, we come to the end of the second leg telecast of the 77th Bradby Shield. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing you all these pictures from Royal Complex, and we really do hope that you've enjoyed this telecast as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Up until we meet you next time, I'm Sudarshan Apiri signing off alongside Chanak Amar Singh, Abdullah Yusuf and the Papare.com technical and the production crew. See you soon.
මේ ජොබ් එක අදම කරන්න ඕනේ. අදම? No problem.
ඕගොල්ලොත් එන්නේ ඉවෙන්ට් එකට. ඩ්‍රෙස් කෝඩ් එක black.
Black? No problem.
නව වැඩි දියුණු කළ ටැන්ඩෙක්ස් ඇක්ටිව් ක්ලිම්බසෝල් පළමු සේදීමෙන්ම ඉස්සොරි ඉවත් කරයි. ස්වභාවික සාරයන් හිස පෝෂණය කරයි.
නාටමුද?
No problem.
හැමදාම ටැන්ඩෙක්ස් නම්
හැමදාම no problem.
ටැන්ඩෙක්ස් හිස නිදහසේ ඉදිරියට.
Aloe vera and mint for freshness. Chamomile for sensitive skin. Lemon and lime for an energetic day. Big shaving foam. A change you must experience.
Hey, have you heard about Z?
ZZ. We KYC.
Easy.
Mobile banking. Crazy.
Education loans and salary advances.
Amazing. Introducing the Digital Youth Account. NDBZ. NDBZ from NDB Bank. The future is banking on us.
Aloe vera and mint for freshness. Chamomile for sensitive skin. Lemon and lime for an energetic day. Big shaving foam. A change you must experience. ඕනම දෙයක් කරන්න විදියක් තියෙනවා. ඒ තමයි තමන්ගේ විදිය. ජීවිතය අත්විඳින්න, ආත්ම විශ්වාසයෙන් නැගී සිටින්න. බෝල්ඩ් ඔබම වෙන්න.
Enjoy the infinite possibilities of the freedom of space, inspired by the beauty of our land. Sri Lanka's finest finished, largest sized porcelain tile collection. Majestica. Lanka Tiles. Fine living redefined.
beautiful outside and inside.
Cheese රසට යාළුවෝ සෙට් එක ස්මයිලි බෙදනවා ඕන වෙලාවක ස්නැක් එක දැක්කම හිත ෆික්ස් වෙනවා සරද කැමති අය දවස පුරාවට සැරයිල්ලනවා කැලිප්සු මික්ස් එක ඕන වෙලාවක නැගලම යනවා බෝරින් ලයිෆ් එක බ්‍රේක් අප් කරගෙන සල්සා නටනවා ලුණු රටාවට අනියන් කික් එක ෆුල් හැපනින් වෙනවා අචි
රටටම රස බෙදෙන මංජි රස බලකාය දැන් අලුත් වෙලා
නැවුම් බව රැකදෙන කුමාරිකා හම්බිට් සංවීධී සමකට කැමෝයිල් බික් ෂේවිං ෆෝම් අත්විදිය හැකි වෙනසකට
Your embrace so warm with one more bite of Revelo for sunshine. Don't wanna miss this pouring rain, pleasing my soul with one more bite of Revelo for the rain. This freedom takes me north that I have never been. With one more bite of Revelo for the road. Love never felt this good. With one more bite of Revelo for love.
Colombo, beautiful outside and inside.
Hey, have you heard about Z?
ZZ. We KYC.
Easy.
Mobile banking. Crazy.
Education loans and salary advances.
Amazing. Introducing the Digital Youth Account. NDBZ. NDBZ from NDB Bank. The future is banking on us.
ඕනම දෙයක් කරන්න විදියක් තියෙනවා. ඒ තමයි තමන්ගේ විදිය. ජීවිතය අත්විඳින්න ආත්ම විශ්වාසයෙන් නැගී සිටින්න. බෝල්ඩ් ඔපම වෙන්න.
catch me howling at the moon.